Here is a fountain filled with blood. John from Emmanuel be.
Yes, my Lord and Empress, blessed love, royal family. This is the African Liberation Network. I am the host, Honorable Prophet Daniel, and this is another international study group. Give thanks for all those present with us in Zoom and watching on YouTube now and in the future. Give thanks for the presence of the living God in all of us. At this time, I would like to turn over the microphone to Honorable Priest. We have Priest Matthew, my Lord. Do you mind saying a prayer to open the program? I guess Psalm 133 or however you feel to open it, my Lord.
What time? Right now?
Right now, my Lord.
Reverend Mighty Court of King David, who are we earth, sky, and sea. Glory be. We're gonna lie, last night, behold, O good and O pleasant peace, for spreading and system to dwell together in unity and love. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that run down to the beard, able to ear and beard to the skirt of his garment, as the dew of Hermon, as the dew that descended upon the mountain of Zion. For there the Lord come on in blessing, for even life and love forevermore. So hail our God Celestia, Jehovah God, Rastafari. Our Almighty God, Rastafari, great and terrible God, Rastafari is the Almighty God. Jah who seats in Zion and reigneth in the heart of all flesh. O the most eternal Father, Jehovah God, Rastafari. Hear us and bless us, O Lord, and keep on sanctify us all. God, thine holy faith, shine upon us, thy children, that we shall be saved and redeemed. O the most high God, Jah, Rastafari. Lord, prepare me to be sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for the black Christ in flesh. I Negos rule is del. King Manuel 7. Oh my God, yeah. Give thanks to the birth of the black God who show us the way. And he said he's the way, the truth, and the life. We give thanks to such way. We give thanks to such truth. Could have come to I and I in a world of sin and shame, and lead I and I in righteousness, and lead I and I in life, and lead I and I on the pathway to Holy Mount Zion, Jerusalem come down now. Jehovah! Turn over to the honorable host, give thanks to the honorable priest and prophet, and give thanks to the honorable empress. I hope this meeting be the best meeting ever, my Lord and Emperor. Honorable priest and prophet, your time.
Yes, my Lord, glorify you. Thanks for those words of right. Yeah. Thanks for all I and I that's here, gather together to build, strengthen ourselves through education, Yeah, His Majesty, Marcus Garvey, Haile Selassie, all about education, So this study group is just a fulfillment of the works that they set us out to do, to educate ourselves and to educate our one another, to bring ourself, our Black self, to a knowledge of ourselves and the God in ourselves, So give thanks for the Black Christ. Give thanks for his order, his salvation, and his divine love to I and I, Most High. Selassie, Jah. Yes, my Lord and Empress. So today's topic is, as we are approaching the celebration of the Black Christ Mass, also known as the birth of Earth, that is the topic. What is the Black Christ celebration, Black Christ Mass celebration? What does the birth of Earth mean? And, how do we celebrate it? What is the similarity to the Ethiopian celebration of Gana, which is, the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christus, as they call him? We just want to compare and contrast, to find out what it is that we actually celebrate, to make it known once and for all. Out of all Bobo Shanti celebrations, this is one of the ones that I really, in my experience, have gotten the least clearance on. It's kind of, even though I ask, I don't really ever get a full answer to where I'm saying, okay, now I understand, so we would love to reason about it and make it, known for sure what it is that we're celebrating, once and for all, Yes, my Lord. So at this time, I would ask, we have an elder with us, Honorable Empress Maisie. Honorable, could you give us, your views on the birth of Earth celebration, what it means to you, your experience in celebrating it, whatever information you would love to share with I to begin the program, begin the reasoning, Honorable Empress. Empress Maisie, if you could unmute yourself. Okay, if Empress Maisie is not available, Honorable Priest Matthew, the eye is in the foundation, my Lord. You could just give a clearance as to what is the birth of Earth celebration, what is the Black Christ Mass, my Lord. Priest Matthew, Empress Maisie. Am I being heard? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, my Lord, you've been here.
Okay. All right. Well, moving right along then, whenever they get on or whatever, I don't know if they're having technical difficulties still, but all right. So, birth of Earth, Black Christ Mass, Gena. What is the difference? What is the similarity? I have heard that the birth of Earth celebration is celebration of the birth of Christ, but it's also defined as the birth of Earth. And, the way that the Ethiopians celebrate the 7th of January is, different than how Bobo Shanti celebrated, Honorable Prophet Carlton, my Lord. Could you unmute yourself, Bobo? Prophet Carlton. My Lord, could you unmute?
Blessed, Honorable.
Lord, could you read what you found in the Black Supremacy book regarding the birth of Earth, Black Christ celebration, Black Christ Mass?
Oh, true. Yeah. Give me 1 minute.
True, my Lord. So we wait patiently,
1 minute. I was studying in the shed. Yes, my Lord and Empress. Thanks again. So it's page 52 from the older version of the Black Supremacy Handbook. And the page is entitled Man of Right is God in Flesh, Man of Wrong is Satan in Flesh. So it's concentrating from the third paragraph, which talks, about one period of time, at the camp of the Black Christmas celebration. So it starts here by saying, give thanks for being black. Give thanks for a Black Christmas. January the 7th to 20th, 1979. 2 full weeks of joy and happiness, peace and love and prosperity to all Black sons and daughters. Come one, come all to this Black fullness of life. Come and see the Black fullness of God in flesh. Give thanks to the Black Father who live in the hearts and reign in flesh. Prophecy and history spoken to anyone is good to the soul. The voice of the people will bring forth 7 miles of Black Star Liner coming through the head of the United Nations to settle peace on earth and send every man to his own vine and fig tree. This celebration will be a melody day consisting of Bible reading, hymn singing, and drum sounds from Daniel's band. 2 weeks of peace and love. Let us all come with a clean hand and pure heart. No charge, free admission, no price, free salvation. Let peace and love abide for us, for unto us a black child is born, unto us a black son is given. His name shall be called Emmanuel. Holy Emmanuel, I Selassie, I Jah, Rastafari. A black Christmas message, black Christmas message to warm your hearts universally, internationally. January the 7th. Give thanks for life. Blessed love to all, my Lord. So this is a universal book that, every bubble at some point will get one, if they don't have one right now. Should be looking to get one anyway. Our Black Supremacy hymn book, with brief guidelines, to I liberty and what King Emmanuel stands for. So, this is the only reference I've found towards, Christmas within that. And it talks about this period of this year, 1979. So it's pretty early in the Congress, development. But there was no mention of birth in the earth in particular. It talked of a child being born. That is a statement from the Bible, where it says his name shall be called Emmanuel, God with us. So like we've been reasoning, it's pretty clear there, within what Christmas means, to us, Yes, my Lord. So that is it, Honorable.
Oh, give thanks, my Lord. Give thanks for sharing, words from the Black Supremacy book, that's straight from King Emmanuel himself, So the reference, the black child being born and the son given, but all right, not even but. It's just, all right, we looking to get to the bottom of this to get the full clearance, Empress Petrona earlier shared a word sound with I that said when she was the first time she ever met King Emmanuel was during this celebration. And the words he said to her was, give thanks for the birth of earth. He didn't really speak of the birth of Christ. And the reason why it's even something to even discern is that we recognize King Emmanuel Charles Edwards as the Black Christ in flesh, right? Yeah, so when we say the birth of Christ, are we saying this January 7th is King Emmanuel's birthday? That's where I have been kind of like, I never really got a clear answer to know if that's what it is that we're saying, because we have the book that the Empress wrote called The Black Christ Unveiled, wherein it does not state that his birthday was in January. I don't have my copy of the book where I've been moving, but I feel like I remember it said that his birthday was in May. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that still. I don't know if anyone has the book and they could give that information for sure.
I had the book.
31st of May.
And what day does it say that the king is born, my lord?
It would say May 31st.
May 31st. All right. So that's where I've been, kind of confused about it, because if you're saying that January 7th is the birth of Christ, but the Black Christ as we know it, or at least as written in that book, and that even that book is somewhat controversial.
My lord.
Pardon
okay, yeah. I was just saying 31st of May is when the father left. I don't know how come that could be his birth. I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm pretty sure I remember reading that same way too, that it was his birthday is the same day that he left his flesh still. So
no, go someone.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's why it's controversial. You have to even think, like people say you're supposed to read, but even what you read is like, you still have to really find out if what you read is really true, because anybody could write anything. And, it's not just because something's in a book that it means that it's actually right, as the white man would like for us to think, So, Honorable Ja Carlton, you have your hand raised, and then Jasik was next. So I'll call on the item in that order. Prophet Carlton, you have the floor.
Blessed love again, give thanks. Yeah, just true. You touched the topic on the May 31st, and there was a reasoning on this, and You know, there was one priest in particular that disagreed with that, saying he was there when the father passed on May 31st, 1994, and that it could not be the same day he was born. And I was looking into it. I forgot the word right now, but there's actually a term for it, to say that the same, you died on the same day as your birthday, and it's very common. And it's very common in a lot of prevalent people, people of significance. There are a lot of people who have passed away on the same day, and even so, there are a lot of people who generally pass away near their birthday. It is very common. So just to put that in mind, so don't rule it out. But I was not there. I've heard from people who were there with King Emmanuel when he departed, but I haven't heard from anybody, apart from that book, but I have not ruled it out, because the Empress has gone through extensive research, spends a lot of money to get that information in that book, from my understanding. So that is my point there. Blessed.
Worthy. Give thanks, my Lord. Yes, all things to be considered, is I'm not ruling it out either. I'm just saying that it is controversial. Some people say that it's true. Some people say it's not true. I don't know the definitive answer, but hopefully through reasoning, we can get closer to the actual truth, Next was Honorable Jasik, and then Ja Winston had his hand raised, so he'll be next in line. Jasik, the floor is yours, my Lord, and then Ja Winston, call on the eye next.
Yeah, bless the love, my Lord, Empress, Prince and Princess,
Blessed
Royal Family.
Majesty.
Yeah, well, what the Virgin are reading Black Supremacy book, they now share, well, a son is given, a son is born. Share, well, we're celebrating the birth of a son. If you understand, what the Virgin read, what King Man himself print, the Black Christ himself print that. Well, I pick up now enough questions didn't really ask. Enough man didn't ask Prince Man enough questions concerning them things, but what the Black Christ leave for me, what written in the Black Supremacy book, share, well, we really celebrating the birth of our son. I have a chapter and verse here to read still, concerning the book of Acts, when Philip baptized the Ethiopian Enoch. Philip the culture Ethiopian Enoch, right? And he went back to Ethiopia, and from that day, the gospel grew in the hearts of all Ethiopians. And Ethiopia now we know what never colonized, never conquered. Them keep the tradition. The 7th of January is the Enoch bring that culture from Philip. And from ever since they keep that day, the birth of Christ. But I want a chapter to read in St. Luke chapter 1. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Rastafari. Continue reading from verse 24. After those days, his wife, Elizabeth, that was Zacharias' wife, John the Baptist's mother, she conceived and hid herself 5 months, saying, thus had the Lord dealt with me in the days wherein he looked on me to take away my reproach among men. And in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God unto the city of Galilee, named Nazareth, to a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. And the virgin's name was Mary. And the angel came unto her and said, Hail, thou art highly favored. The Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. And when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying, and cast in her mind what manner of salutation this should be. And the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with God. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus, Holy Emmanuel. So that's Rastafari. So what show here now, right? After 6 months, when Elizabeth was pregnant with John, 6 months after Mary conceived, the angel came to her after 6 months. When John was in the belly for 6 months, Mary got pregnant. Mark can be born August. 6 months after, my Lord and Empress. 6 months after August is the month of January. This book confirming after John was in belly for 5-6 months. That when Christ come and conceive. So we go with tradition, you know. So the birth of Christ, you come and get over that take place 2,000 years ago, the 7th of January. It was that was the manifestation day, you know. In the book of Isaiah teach you well, you know. A virgin shall be with child, and them shall be called Emmanuel. Like Isaiah 7 verse 14. So the prophecy is done written already, you know, with this bango ball, you know. So we come and see the Black Christmas we celebrate in this month here is the birth of earth, which is King Emmanuel, earth strong, from 2,000 years ago, my Lord. That's why some up here within this matter here, my Lord, and Empress. Blessed love.
Blessed love, my Lord. Give thanks for the clearance. Give thanks for the prophecy. Honorable Ja Winston, my Lord, the floor is yours. If you still, I realize you took your hand down, but the floor is yours if you still wanted to reason.
Yeah, give thanks again, my Lord. Holy Emmanuel is
Rastafari.
Give thanks again for the reason, give thanks again for the celebration going forward, same way. All my Lord and Empress, all prophet and priest, same way. You know, I give thanks again for the giving of thanks. I give thanks to the present of present. My Lord, I overstand with the 7th, the 8th of January, you know. I overstand with the 7th of January, the birth of the earth, is where King Emmanuel comes set. You know, we show up where King Emmanuel said. The man set the Sabbath. If you really check out Solomon and David and them man build the altar. Them man build the altar with righteousness, good, truth and all them things. When David building the altar, when they show we say, Haile Selassie, I say we must start from the root of Solomon, same way. So certain things get licked same way still if we take up the heavens of Rastafari. Yeah? When King Emmanuel set this 7th of January, depending on when King Emmanuel born in this time here, you know. It depending on when King Emmanuel born in creation, because the man carried Sabbath upon the altar. You know. King Emmanuel is the only man where we see in flesh come and carry the altar. Jehovah's. You see the Sabbath upon the altar, showing the world the Sabbath is the highest. King Emmanuel, the only man. Any prophecy from Genesis to Revelation, King Emmanuel, Solomon carry a piece of love, a piece of good, a piece of truth, a piece of righteousness. When them building the altar, you see, that's why we are Ethiopian and the salvation of Israel have to come out of Zion, because we are the Zion children, you know. We are the captive in the West, you know. We're going home with the powers. So everything said through the Sabbath. The 7th, the birth of the earth, New Year's Day is the 7th again, same way. Everything with King Emmanuel different on the 7th as the prophet or the priest the same way. The earth and the 7th day within creation. And it's the same 7th man come and bring forward in this time here and show me. This is the perfection of man. You see, anytime you start to check, you only can seal it up on a 7 because the perfection of King Emmanuel. So the birth of the earth showing we now as Bobo, we don't spit upon the earth salvation, because remember this is Melchizedek, this is the priestical month, you know, this is the month of the priests and them, you know. This is Melchizedek order, you know. If you go to Hebrew 7, same way, it's the 7 we dwelling with, the uneven powers, you know. So as Bobo now, we see King Emmanuel as King Emmanuel from ancients of days, and in this time he's showing we now, it's this time here we setting for Rastafari. We changing everything in Ethiopia. Even the 7th, everything must be upon the 7th because of King Emmanuel. And this is where Bobo stand for. The more you meditate, the more clearance come within your mind. When you're meditating, it's kind of, it's hard, yes, but the mountain is where enough ones have already reached forward to in this time, because the tile that you're walking upon, it's baking stone. You can't corrupt no Sabbath day. You know? It's a lot of things with King Emmanuel show we within the priestical month of this year here, where I study to priest, man. Priest Shimran, Priest Jawain, and even Priest Kumi same way. We come forward here and show and I say we set things by reasoning in the night when the moon up and all these things. So Jah come show we everything that we're doing, we perfection is the 7. Because he built the altar for the 7. So that's why we say now the border of the earth is the 7 because of King Emmanuel set it on the 7. Because if you go in Ethiopia right now, certain things don't keep on the 7. It's easy for a man to forget the Sabbath because he don't meditate the 7. So everything will just show it's just a part of everlasting life because we know where King Emmanuel is. I see King Emmanuel, I know Zion. I see Zion. I chat amongst King Emmanuel all in Zion. Selassie, I see the altar in Zion where King Emmanuel and Selassie alone ministering upon the altar. And I Jah Winston come and as a dove. I tell you vision to the mountain top where I live upon. Now perfection only come from we surround I and I. The physical chat surround I and I. Everything that I and I doing, it must be right within I and I self, a good within I and I self, so that we can preserve the altar. Anytime the altar shake, we have a lot of violence and all. Because that put Bobo Shanti over the whole earth, over everything, So we can't shake. Time enough for we form ourselves in we surrounding, in how we live in, where we live in, and all these things, and try to come out of Babylon and try to come to the mountain part of the country or go to Africa, that we could connect this power. There's a Zion power. A man have to see where he come from, know where he come from, and where he going. There's a Zion power. If anything happened to I just prostrate myself and that show me the whole of my inside of my body through the meditation. So it's a pure chat to the 7th and the liberty of the 7th, where we're going forward, as Psalms 14 say, how the salvation of Israel can come out of Zion. He said, when the captivized people return, Jacob will rejoice and Israel will be glad. So we're going with the prophecy. Because in Ethiopia, the captive have to return. You see, so when we return now, we will be called God and Goddess of the earth. And Jacob will rejoice and Israel will be glad. It's a prophecy where we have to live in. It's a Bible chat, King Emmanuel is a Bible chat. The man loved the Bible so much, Rasta, that the man never leave the Bible. That's why we call him Holy Emmanuel. Selassie, Jah.
Yeah, Rastafari.
More love and more strength, heart of celebration, heart of love, and heart of togetherness, my Lord and Empress, priest and prophet.
Honorable, give thanks, my Lord, for that, that perspective still, because I never thought of it that way either, Yeah, the more different perspective we get is really probably the more close we get to the actual truth of the matter still, So all ones and ones are welcome to share. Those that's watching in the YouTube chat room, feel free to share if you have opinions, same way. I can, read them on the line to share your opinion with the rest of the family, same way. So, yeah, Empress Maisie, I was hoping that I could even share from your experience, what is the Birth of Earth celebration and how is it celebrated, and what's been your experience around that time of year, Honorable?
Blessed love, my Lord,
Blessed
and
Lord.
Empresses. Give thanks, Baba, for life, health, and strength. Give thanks in us and I get again. On the study group talking about, our Black Christmas, our Black God and King Most High, Selassie, Jah,
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Yes, Majesty. Black Christmas, is when I came to the foundation in 1979, I didn't get the name of Bertha Furt. Since lately, going by now, me hear Bertha Furt a couple years ago. It always been the Black Christmas, It's the Black Christmas, it's a joyous celebration. And it is one of the biggest celebration kept in the foundation, where and as a people we start together from a week or two ago start to prepare for this celebration come the 7th of January. Yeah, we didn't get, I cannot give much culture on it because we didn't really sit down with Dada. What I and I should have done, till we had the opportunity to sit down with the Father and let him give us more, culture on the Black Christmas. But we didn't do that, you see. And so I go in there and see that happening. I just join in and every year at this time, we look forward to such gigantic celebration of the Black Christmas. After Babylon, Christmas gone and thing and them done with, I and I own, and I prepare myself for such fulfillment, Have 7 nights, Naya Bingi and singing and chanting and eating and drinking and having a good time within such, Yeah. So that is what I know still. I never really question it. I just go along. But now that we have in this topic and, ones and ones, come up with, the ideas or whatever. I listen to it still, my Lord.
Yes,
Not
I will.
because, I give thanks each point push out, by my beloved brothers and sisters still, and give thanks, my Lord, for strength.
Yes, Empress. Could
Life.
you even give a clearance really about the actual celebration though? Like what is it different than any of the other celebrations? And how do Bobo Shanti celebrate this, Black Christ Mass? Empress? Empress Maisie, you muted yourself. Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah. You hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As I tell you, Jadaniel, it was one of the joyfulest celebration within the year of celebrate, because we celebrate from January right down to December. But Christ must always be one of the biggest celebration where ones and ones from near and far always come in, we celebrate such fulfillment, and they said at the Christ. Well, I learned, what they told me that it was Christ born day, the 7th of January. Always been, they told us that is Christ born day. But coming up and hearing different reasons, you realize they say Christ born January, they say born April too, so, really don't get the fulfillment of that. But me say, we always celebrate the 7th of January. And in my mind, they always say that it is when Christ was born. My Lord. So as I said before, I didn't question the Father, even though I had the opportunity to talk with him, sit down and talk with him still. But I didn't question him. I just go along with the celebration that I came to the foundation and saw and live over the many years. My Lord.
Yes, I
give thanks.
Yes, I give thanks, Honorable. And, really, as I mentioned, the topic, the Bobo Shanti Black Christ Mass, also known as the Birth of Earth celebration, as well as the Ethiopian Gena celebration, which, while we know that, say, like the image that the Ethiopians would even look at when they identify Christ is not say like King Emmanuel, that they don't know of King Emmanuel. They're thinking of Jesus Christ, Jesus Christos. Now we see the image of King Emmanuel, Charles Edwards, because we know that he's the Black Christ in flesh at this time, in this dispensation of time still. But it's really not to make them separate in a way, because I feel, and I stand to be corrected, that he intentionally made our Christ Mass on this particular day because of the fact that the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church also celebrates this day as the birth of Christ, same way. So it's not that different. Our celebration is different still. We don't do things exactly as they do, but we're celebrating in unison, you know, as Ethiopians celebrating Christ. So that's a good thing, you know, and I know that King Emmanuel put our celebration together with that celebration to make a global unity around the Ethiopian Christ.
I know pretty, my Lord, I never hear of, you know, that man, you know. The difference with them, we keep 7 nights of all night, 7 nights of all night bingy,
Right.
you know, right? And there's another thing I want to say. Listening to the Honorable Brethren them still. Well, we know that the Father left us on the 31st of May. And I can't understand, well, I'm stand to correct it, you know. It doesn't matter if I'm an elder or not, but in reality in life, when a woman have a child and the child passed the same time he or she was born, there's no history of that child more than you know. So, well, I lose my child. The mother can tell anyone that, yes, my son was born and then he died, or he born dead, right? Well, King Emmanuel, you know, I don't see how my father I go birth and death are going to be on the same day, because we have the history. We live with the man life. You understand? Yeah? And we see the work of King Emmanuel. So I can't see how my father I go born the 31st of May and then died the 31st of May. If that happened to him, then we wouldn't know the Christ. Yeah? And we wouldn't know anything about our father, became born and dead. You know, so it's just understanding. I would like to get more clearance from the beloved brethren them who still, how that go, you know, how that goes. All right. Give thanks, my Lord. Blessed Lord.
Yes, Honorable. I don't think they were saying that he was born in March 1st, 1914 and died March 1st or May 31st, 1914. What they're saying is that over the span of 80 years, but he did leave his flesh on the same day of the calendar year that he was born.
But Prady, I didn't even know that my father was born on the 31st of May.
Well, that's what the Empress book says. That's what the book, The Black Christ Unveiled, says. Nobody really, I mean, it's controversial. Not everybody agrees. Not everybody believes it to be true, but it's written in a book still. And that's where ones are getting that information.
I don't know, my Lord. Well, all right. No problem.
Yes, Honorable Jah Winston, my Lord, your hand is up. You have the floor.
Yes, give thanks again for the person, my Lord. Give thanks to the giver. Thanks, my Lord.
Majesty.
Yes, my Lord. Inshallah, the King Emmanuel just come fulfill a prophecy, just like how say Haile Selassie come and fulfill Revelation 5. You know, as Marcus fulfill Revelation 5, King Emmanuel fulfill Revelation 5, Omega fulfill Revelation 5. Because if you look in Revelation 5, all of them names is in Revelation 5. Every one of them is in Revelation 5. If you check the powers, you make the powers of Zion. And then also King Emmanuel been up to make this study, you know, to prepare a place for the both of them, so that we go always deep or not. There's a place where we go and come, where when Jaffe for sending again, you know. King Emmanuel is the only man who come create Zion. Where you could see Zion like you're watching TV. If you're pure, you see them things, they carried upon the mountain top, and I see them things like that. I see all in the moon, I see John all in the moon, I see Bobo Shanti all in the moon, everything I see is Bobo Shanti. You see, everything I see is just white turban and roof fall and the Empress them. I see Zion, same tabernacle in Mobile Hill, same tabernacle in Zion. I see King Emmanuel. And when King Emmanuel prepared for I and I in this time, you know, Jehovah's, is to show I and I is everlasting life, you know. It's life. If you think of I man, you think of life. That's what King Emmanuel show you, you know. Because certain things we once and once do and set on Mobile Hill, same way, showing me that King Emmanuel chat. Jehovah's and King Emmanuel, you know, certain words them saying. I ain't gonna say them things about my father, because my father lived. That's why when you're using to Selassie and you use them words, the Selassie say Kasafe. I don't even use them word upon the Sabbath. Because to me it feel like it's ruling the Sabbath. Certain things I don't call upon the Sabbath. So what you come and show and I say to the powers the thought of man, which is we he live in. Because King Emmanuel live in I. Him live in I. If you look in I, you have to see King Emmanuel. If you look on the eye them same way, you have to see King Emmanuel. Him live in I. It's create, it's mind, it's a mind, a power, a thought. Because Shanti is a meditation order. The more quiet you could be within your home, the more power create within yourself, you know. So my father lived, because I see my father. How you think I wrap my turban? How I learn to wrap my turban? I rise up 4 o'clock a morning, and that I paint the moon, and that I turn it sideways, for I see how to fold the turban. Rasta, that's how I wrap my turban in a Rasta. And when I go bubble head and I see it up, it's the same how the priest and them wrap it. You know, the man is alive. Sometimes the man doesn't be hard on the Sabbath. If they hold in your house and they hold in certain powers, the man does be upon the man does appear upon the Sabbath. King Emmanuel is real, the man ain't gone nowhere Rasta. You over the see, but you have to see within the midst, you know, because there is a clearance within the midst, the power thought, you have to see that. You have to see Jah, you know, because this charity, if you can't see Zion, you have to work plenty, you know, to get rid of certain pollution or certain affliction and all them things, you know, because it's a pure work. The more seat up, the more rainwater you drink, the more spring water you drink, you react these powers inside of your Rasta. You focus upon anything, you situate. Rasta, situate all these things, you know. So it's through the power of King Emmanuel now, we know he's alive because it's true he now and I can react all these powers. Let me show them something. One my youth in Canada, the doctor said a cancer in she throat. You know, a girl child, she named Latifa. And she in Canada and I say she have cancer in she throat. And she called me and said, Daddy, my throat swell one side and the doctor said I have cancer in my throat. You see, I say, all right. She said, if the machine go off 2 times, the cancer is right. The machine go off more than 2 times. Rasta. I tell Empress, I say, Mama, let me go bubble head. And I go bubble head. You see it, and I see it up amongst Priest Jawin, Prophet Domain, Priest Chris, Priest Morgan, and certain priests I see it up with. And I see it on my bed and I black my trinity and my youth appear in the dark night, Rasta, with the lump by Shinet. And I put my hand, reality I tell you, real, you know. And I put my hand by Shinet and take it and check out the house of the priest them. Physically thing I tell you, you know. When I call forward in 2 weeks in Canada, the doctor tell her it's a miracle, everything disappeared. The man will. The man say give him the whole heart and he go give Father ever living kingdom. Jehovah's. We go study prophecy and history where Israel have to fulfill. Jehovah just say there is none that do it good, not one. Jehovah's the seed. And we have to come and prove ourselves in this time here. And I give thanks even for the reasoning we claiming the meditation order. Jehovah's the seed because this claiming the meditation order, the thinking ability, you will never listen to radio because you have something to in-tune yourself to. So I give thanks to Baba Shanti 4 wings. My Lord, this power is a power. When you go to the scripture, you're trembling, Baba. You're trembling. You see, the man is real. Baba, the man is real. My empress was down for 5 months and he eat for 5 months. Tell me, woman could be down for 5 months and he eat for 5 months. Almost get small as a piece of stick. Rasta. And I go to Dada. Rasta. Jehovah's. I clean out my house with rocks and all things. Cut out all pollution. And I go to Dada and King Emmanuel appear. Rasta. And I show Dada, say, can't kill an empress, you know. Empress have to live, man. Let she live. Rasta. Let she prove herself. Jehovah's. Forgive she and let she prove herself. My Lord, I empress the upon she foot like a lion right now in a bubble. So you see, King Emmanuel is the Almighty I. Him is the Almighty I. And I can't stop say so. King Emmanuel is the Almighty I. There is no other. There is no other. Don't look for no other. Everything else is illusion. The man is the Almighty I, Rasta. Even when Selassie I said on the tune, 1930, the man take a humbleness, a moment of humbleness on the tune. Rasta, you could have seen King Emmanuel appear within the man because Jah is so humble within himself, Rasta. Jehovah says, and Joshua will say, love, 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 love. Just send them words and leave these words to it. So must love my brothers and sisters equally, because every man still faces his own Jehovah start of mind, you know, because everything carry good, you know. Everything carry righteousness, you know. Even everything you look upon it carry part of righteousness, because the man live in everything. The man is the Almighty, Rasta. There is nothing when he in debt, you know. Nothing that is illusion. Is life forevermore. As the priest open the reasoning with Psalms and show the power of the Psalm. There is life forevermore.
1 minute, my Lord, before your time forward.
Yes, I love my Lord. All love and all protection and all guidance to Bobo Shanti and all people, 4 wings, my Lord.
Worthy, honorable. Give thanks for the testimony still, you know. Yeah, it's real uplifting, encouraging, you know, and confirm, you know, the power of the man in I and I still, you know. Yeah. The next hand raised, Honorable Prophet Carlton. My Lord, you have the floor. If you want to unmute. Prophet Carlton, unmute yourself, my Lord.
Blessed love again, give thanks.
Blessed love.
Yes, give thanks for the reasoning, you know. It's good to see, you know, ones and ones, you know, taking part in such a manner, you know. I see, you know, everyone, you know, is kind of on the same path, really, you know, and it's kind of different from a lot of discussions that we've had on this topic, you know, and I suppose ones would see that, you know. And it kind of shows that there's no strong argument against, you know, what has been said, really, you know. Yeah, mainly my point is that, you know, I find Bobo Shanti, we try to dismiss the Bible a lot, you know, and there's strong reasons why we should, you know. We all know, you know, in a sense where the Bible got us, you know, the stories of slavery and all these things, their Christianity and, you know, brutality, you know, so we all know the bad things. But the truth of the matter is King Emmanuel came with the Bible, you know, and the hymn book, you know, and even upon my, you know, entrance towards the Bobo Shanti Levity, you know, it was hard for me to, you know, comprehend that, but, you know, I had to accept it like many other things. So, yeah, I find with this new age of information, you know, I are losing faith to the point where we can't really back up what we're saying, or maybe we're ashamed, you know, because of this book and its history and what others may make out of it, you know. So we are becoming a bit hesitant to, you know, actually agree with the stories and, you know, match it up with our liberty. And that's causing a lot of you know, segregation through different views, you know, of even a simple celebration. Because for the first, I could say probably 9 or 10 years of my Bobo Liberty, you know, I just had the understanding that, you know, it's the Black Christmas, like the Ghana, you know, our version, we keep it our own way, 7 days, you know, Naya Bingi drum sound all night, you know, 7 priests on the altar, you know, 7 of everything, you know. But our own spin on the Bible, because King Emmanuel is our interpreter, and he come with the Bible and the hymn book, the same hymns that the Christians use. He come back and interpret and make us sing to a right. So I find we really have to come together and make a decision, you know, because it's going to be hard for some to accept that, you know, this is how it is and this is what we have to do. You know, we have to use it. We are using it already until we until our mission is fulfilled, you know, because there's some argument that we're going to drop the Bible in the river on the way home. Basically, we're not going to need it no more. So that's another argument. We're not at that point yet, you know. So let's not dismiss, you know, the Bible, you know, as hard as it is, because we kind of make ourselves look kind of silly, you know, when we have the Bible in our hand and we're still disagreeing with it and saying, no, it's not that. It looks a way to me, you know, and others, you know, because we've had these discussions before. So don't be afraid of the new information, the new things, the things we are hearing, you know, that might be truth, you know, but it's about faith as well as truth, you know, for us, because we have to have faith. Faith is what becomes true to us, you know, because we could believe anything out there. When they say there are fossils from 400 million years ago, you know, and you believe it, it's faith that you believe that, you know. Do you really know it's been there for 400 million years, you know, and things like that. So faith makes us do everything. So let's make our faith stick in the one path, so we don't have to divert, you know, and even wonder what we're celebrating and why we're celebrating it. My Lord and Empress, give thanks again. But another point, you know, Easter is going to be coming up, and there's another spin on that, where ones are saying it's nothing to do with the passing of Christ, you know, it's nothing to do with Lent. But you have to watch when do Bubble Shanty keep Lent the exact same day with the Christians, and that date does not change. That date changes, pardon me. It's not like the 7th of January that sticks, you know, with the Gregorian calendar. The date of Easter changes every year according to Ash Wednesday. You know, it's according to the moon.
Everything starts from 7, my lord. Everything starts.
Lord, pardon
Well,
me.
if you watch when we have we Bobo Shanti, as I know it, we start our Easter, our Lent period, our fasting and praying on the Ash Wednesday. You know, so that could be the 7th of March at a time, but it changes every year if you check it out. So through that there now, that is to do with the equinox and these things there. But ones are trying to.
Prophet Carlton, my
Lord.
let's keep it on the Black Christ Mass before we go into something else.
Okay, yeah, I'm just pointing out that there are other things, you know, that we are straying from, you know, but I'm just pointing out the date is different in this, and it's according to, you know, the ways I would say the Christian or even the Orthodox Christians have calculated their date. So the calculation of January the 7th now is based on the Ethiopian calendar, which is even years behind, because it's based on the birth of Christ, because that's when the calendar started. So, you know, it's a major factor within everything, my Lord and Empress. But don't want to take too much time and stray off the topic and let another one speak. My Lord and Empress, give thanks for the time.
Give thanks, my Lord, for the word still. The next hand raised is Prophet Joseph. But before Prophet Joseph goes, I would like to speak to what John Carlton just shared still. Because the first thing, the brethren, he was the first to read, even to open the program. And what you read was from the Black Supremacy book. Same Black Supremacy book says that the Bible is wrong, right culture. So even though King Emmanuel did come with Bible and hymn book, he made sure that we know that you still have to discern right from wrong, even in the very book that we find him, that we find Marcus Garvey, that we find Haile Selassie. You still have to discern what is the wrong and what is the right, and hold on to the right and let go of the wrong. So it's not everything in it that we should just accept, you know. It is really for us to really look into and compare with other things in reality, because the Bible, as we know it, is written in parables. It's written in, you know, stories and things like that. some of it is allegory, some of it is fact, some of it is prophecy. So it's up to us to really even continue to reason about these different things to really get a full clearance and not just repeat things, and recite stuff because we read it in the Bible and not knowing really what it actually means and what the real historical, reality is. Still, my Lord and Empress. So now, I would like to call on Honorable Prophet Joseph. My Lord, you have the floor.
My Lord,
Glorify.
give thanks, my Lord and Empress, again for life. Give thanks for the life giver, the Black Christ in flesh. Thanks for the study group, again to come to a clearance and to an agreement amongst I and I, so we can elevate ourselves to the standard and to the understanding of the Black Christ. I give thanks for this day, for the Black Christmas, because the way I see it, it is a day for the Black Christ to be born in I and I. There is, we say we must be born again, right? And Jarastafari teaches how we can born again within his truths and rights, within his Naya being Yada. So I give thanks for this Black Christmas celebration coming up because it is as the Honorable Empress was saying, a day for I and I to full joy within this levity, with 7 nights of Naya being and 7 priests upon the altar and the Daniel Bansim wheel. I would love to give a clearance on, to share some words of something I was searching out here. There is the need of really differentiate what is, Ethiopian calendar, what is the Gregorian calendar, and what is the Julian calendar. And the way I understand it, the way I see it, there is also the need to understand our own Bobo Shanti calendar. Within the Orthodox churches in the Middle East and in the Eastern Western churches, Eastern Orthodox churches, they carry on the Julian calendar. That is why the Ethiopian Orthodox Church celebrates the 7th of January as the Gena, which is some way a different day in the Ethiopian calendar. It would not be called 7th of January, or it's just the Gena. But the reason why the Orthodox churches, amongst them the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, celebrate the Christmas, or in their interpretation, the Christmas in the 7th of January, it is because they rule the Orthodox churches by the Julian calendar. And in the Julian calendar, it is a 2 weeks difference calendar to the Gregorian calendar. So many Orthodox churches, not just the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, but the Russian Orthodox Church, many Orthodox churches celebrate the Christmas in the 7th of January, because it is on their calendar that day marks the 25th of December. So I agree with what Prophet Daniel is saying, that we must differentiate and know how to differentiate our celebration with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church celebration, because in this topic of Christmas, we now say we celebrate the 7th of January because it is a teaching that was brought forward by King Emmanuel. But on the Orthodox Church, they really celebrate that day, because on the Orthodox churches, that day matches with the 25th of December. That is how they see it. That is why even what Prophet Carton was saying really makes a lot of sense to I when he was going to the Lent reasoning, because that is the same reason why they celebrate the Good Friday 2 weeks after we and the rest of the world really celebrate Good Friday. The Orthodox churches, wait 2 weeks to celebrate Good Friday, because that is how it's marked in their calendar. So I just wanted to bring that word to see what the item would think about it. Like, I see this Julian calendar is really what rules most of Orthodox churches, right? So on the Julian calendar, the 7th of January is the 25th of December. So that's why many Orthodox churches celebrate that day. We are Orthodox kingdom. We were brought forward by our King Emmanuel, and he is the one who really gives us the understanding. So yeah, my Lord and Empress.
Yeah, thanks, Prophet Joseph. I would just, I'm gonna call on Prophet Winston in one moment, but my Lord, before I give you the floor, I just want to say my birthday is April 21st in this calendar. If I'm in Ethiopia, it's the same day. My birthday doesn't go back 2 weeks because I'm on a different calendar. The month is called a different name because they have different words for their months, and their calendar is just totally different, as their new year is September 11. Yeah, and their celebrations now are not really based on Rome, and what Rome established through Nicaea Council and, whatever other religious councils they had to create their doctrine, because you hear this word sound that the 25th of December is Queen Elizabeth's father's birthday or something like that. And that also is like the solstice is the 21st of December, and that was a pagan holiday, what they call pagan. And they merged the two, just like Easter. The word comes from like Ishtar, and just, Europeans taking something that they used to celebrate and morphing it with Christianity once they came under the rule of the Roman Catholic order. So, I mean, if you read something and that's what you got from it, then I wouldn't really debate it, but it doesn't really make that much sense to me, honestly, just because a day is a day is a day. Your birthday doesn't ever change. A man is only born on one day, period. It doesn't really, no matter what calendar it is, it's the same day of the year, Yeah. So, I mean, I would welcome you to present something contrary to what I'm saying still, but that just, I mean, what I got from it is that I don't really see the fullness of that still, my Lord. But like I said, the floor, if you want to present something in a moment to show contrary to what I said, the floor is open. We just, trying to get to the facts of it, But now I'll call on Ja Winston, my Lord, the floor is yours. And then Ja Carlton have his hand up next.
Thanks again, my Lord.
Majesty.
Thanks again for life above all things, Thanks again for health and strength. Yes, my Lord, the reason on the 7th of January, and the upliftment of the 7th of January. The first thing I learned within the prophecy and history, the priest I man, show him and same way is that everything I do now for meditate is 7. If I use and put in garlic, I use 7 plague of garlic. If I bake in bread for the Sabbath, I bake in 7 bread. Everything where I place my whole life within, I man Jehovah's use the 7 because of such mighty man King Emmanuel, to show him on the 7. And I man just use the 7 because I could use the 7. You find more joy in the 7 things, The 7 can't change, And you may ask the reason, why is the reason for the 7? Because it's a reason we just show it 21 Psalms, it show with 14 days, we can touch the Empress there sometime, before the 21 days. It's the teaching of this study and the teaching of this study we're chatting here right now. We glorifying that and this time here, We give thanks to our topics, same, but Let me glorify the man and say, yo, the man create Zion for you and I, everlasting Zion. And it's not about the calendar over in Africa, but it's about what we Bobo Shanti declare, you know, how we want you to run and how we want you to the people them for live is the way we come for. We come change everything and put it into Rastafari, into Bobo Shanti. Because we meditate Rastafari's everlasting life. Eh? You know, so we can glorify everything, all the animals, them, all the trees, and to, you know, see we present as Rastafari and as priest and prophet, Lord and Empress, because it's only one way. And another thing again, Bobo Shanti, we not believe, eh? King Emmanuel show you that you don't really believe, you know. When you know, you just know, you know. You don't meditate evil and go do evil, you know. So we look upon life different as Bobo Shanti, you know. We look upon life that we come to change everything, you know. Whether in some mansion or Rastafari, we come change everything. We're turning up the banner. Red, gold, and green. Now we turn down banner. We're changing everything. And in times to come, one of Bobo Shanti's biggest opposition is going to be the turn down banner. Because them will rise up against it. I see all them things in vision, you know. And we have to separate yourself because when King Emmanuel built Bobo Shanti, he called some man on the mountain top and he said, who for he go upon this side and who not for he go upon the other side. And then he built Bobo Hill. So when Bobo Hill built to the greatness of ones and ones who see that as the shepherd, you know. And we have to keep it that way there. We ain't thinking outside that way there. Respect to everything all over the world, respect to all good all over the world, but everything must put you out of Bobo Head, out of Bobo Shanti, every Bobo all over the world. We must teach you salvation. We must teach you love. We must show the people them how to live. We must be the kindness spun out. Eh? Because a man said just now again, Naya being the other. Naya being is not other. Naya being is a word, song, and power. We can fulfill the Bible. Word, song, and power. Jehovah's. In the beginning is the word, you know, and the word was with God, you know, and that word is God, you know. So we come for fulfill the word. We don't come for fight nothing. We try our best at Bobo Shanti to free the God in we. Because if you fight the battle will always be a torment within your mind. Because you will always think about coming against me, coming against me. But if you live through it and love it, you even study it, you know. So we as Bobo Shanti, we open up the mental capacity to be free with everything, you know. Yes, people fight us, but we know that as people will come the same way like how we the same way to our right in times to come. So we don't study them. And then do come to our right same way. So the more you could live, the freer you could live, the more glory you could be King Emmanuel, you know, within all his works, because the only Zion we know of, is King Emmanuel Zion, eh? You know, because still I say, no man can go to the Father but to the Son. And we have to know, no man can go to the Father but to the Son. It's Son of creation, Father of creation, and Mother of creation. I always remember these three people, Jehovah, as they see, carry such powers within themselves and within I and I. So we come live right, you know, and we come show the world right there as Bobo Shanti. So we must not focus too much on the things and them will happen outside of Bobo Shanti. You know, no matter what it be. It may seems like it matching us, but it ain't matching us. We are different. We are very pure people, because we fast and pray, you know. I tried in the city, and one of the woman, a white woman running a store from the Middle East, she called me and the Empress, you know what she said to me? She said, yeah, them pure, you know. But the people them don't know the idea. You know? So Bobo Shanti is a pure order. So the more we live with a freeness within ourselves, even at home sometimes, some will live at home and some things may say, we ride over that. Because King Emmanuel find joy in even the sad times, you know? So that we can overcome our plague and pestilence, because we have to bring down Elizabeth. Eh? And you understand we can bring down Elizabeth is to keep the altar without no affliction and keep the altar pure and hold to the powers, drink no spring water, boil the water we drink it before we drink it. Don't just drink it from the pipe tap. So if we live in America, Canada and them country, because the fire purify, you know? The water cleanse, but still the fire for burn it for purify it. So we purify the water before we use it same way. We hold upon certain powers. You know, if we can't live within a single house in foreign, as Bobo, we must come out because the Sabbath have to be kept holy. And if the place is not right for the Sabbath, you cannot corrupt the Sabbath day. And the man said, not even the stone, the tiles and the floor, the overall will be worn. That's why the man built the tabernacle and just set just the earth so that you can walk and stand. And, man ain't class it with no concrete and nothing and them thing there. Because the man don't show you going on there ready to the power. So Bobo Shanti is a meditation order. You use your mind to climb to righteousness, you know. Respect the empress, them love the empress, them care for the empress, them. Even keep them at home and you do the work same way. Because they have a duty to fulfill. You see it, and then fulfill duties that after the 21 days cleansing, them supposed to be able to go in the tabernacle and take down the veils and them and change the curtain and put the curtain and then go forward.
My Lord, can you forward to the topic of the Black Christmas birth of our celebration, Bobo?
So my Lord, give thanks again for the correction. So my Lord, we give thanks again for the fasting because all these things now pertaining to the fasting of this month where the order must be straight as ever, you know. So I just show the ones and them out the same way we might have A's still and ain't really paying attention, same way you separate yourself and certain time same way because I come up with an empress and it was hard to really hold the powers of the Christmas, which is this month, same way because when she and the same thing now, you can't get for holy fasting. And if it comes on the day when you're holding the powers, you know, so it's a lot of things where we have to open up our heart and open up our mind, us to accept King Emmanuel's salvation from this time and to such time again and to such time again. Because the man live, the man is real. I go Bobo Hill, and when I sit up in Bobo Hill, one thing I make sure I see King Emmanuel. I see King Emmanuel paying Bobo Hill, you know, to fasting and pray. And I hold to these powers. Never let these powers here going on. I may go to certain rough time, but I have to be able to could heal myself and could heal ones and could hold this salvation where King Emmanuel gave we in this time here. Better Bobo Hill. I want to see Bobo Hill. I want to see all the Bobo man them come out, America and all them places and go and set themselves on the foundation. And live on the foundation, build up house and cottage. And remember Bobo Hill, you know, because the King Emmanuel show we say, yo, this is where, you know, he go appear again. We must go Bobo Hill. We must go there all of our night. Forget about America, forget about all them things. Walk away, you know, and go there, go live, and they will live in love. You know, see it. And then from there now, we will start to project ourselves with the salvation everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world. We need more unification within Bobo Shanti to fulfill this duty we will fulfill right here, right now, which is the celebration. We can't have the celebration halfway. We have to have it whole. We have to start to put things in the right way to keep the right celebration. Look how much chaos going on and out because Bobo Shanti find themselves little in holding upon certain powers to the fullest. That's why we have so much thing. We are the leader for all. When King Emmanuel, as King Emmanuel, they hear same way they do it. When it's present same way. We never see them thing they go on for now. Because that never skylark in nature. That meditate. You meditate and think and see within this time here. You know, so the same meditation we have for compound, for whole Bobo Shanti, 4 wings, and appealing to all the Bobo man them. You know, walk away, you know, from Babylon, because Babylon going down. walk away from corruption. Because King Emmanuel saying a reasoning. Jehovah's America and Canada and France and all them places, you're gonna lash them places real hard. Walk away from them places. Come in at the small island, teach black people, Jehovah's about King Emmanuel, and they will come together and fight for repatriation to go home. You know, them taking we too simple in them countries. And we must go to Bubble Hill. All our celebration. Bubble Hill's slack a bubble right now. We must come out of them place, who could pay them passage, sell the TV, sell the fridge, go Bubble Hill in this time here right now. Because Babylon going down.
Yes, my Lord. It's, you know, for the sake of allowing others to speak, you know, we just ask, you know, what 5 minutes per person per time, you know. So give thanks to idea reason for quite a while. I just didn't want to interrupt, want to see where you was going to go and see if you would come to a conclusion still, but don't mean to cut you, my Lord, but just for the sake of others, you know, to get a chance to reason same way.
Give thanks, my Lord. Give thanks, my Lord. They can't but give thanks to the love, my Lord.
Yes, my Lord. Give thanks, Jah Winston, for the word sound, you know, and you bring us to a good point still as far as the importance of togetherness for a celebration and ones on ones really come into the celebration to fill up the congregation and fill up the altar. Very important, you know. Yes, my Lord. The next hand that was, well, before I call on the next hand, I did get a comment in the YouTube reasoning, the live stream reasoning. Honorable Priest Ion, Priest Carlos, he said, hurt, not earth, for I am earth, Christ said. Birth of earth or birth of Christ, one Lord, one faith, one birth. Christ Mass celebrated all over differently, but it's all Christ-based, one and the same. King Emmanuel didn't born January 7th, this dispensation, but it's the same Christ. So I and I acknowledge the celebration. Emperor Haile Selassie, I spoke on Christ Mass, acknowledged all over the world also. So it's just a unity in the celebration of Christ, still, according to the priests. Give thanks, my Lord, Honorable Priest Carlos, Priest Ion. Give thanks for the high presence still, and give thanks for the word sound and the unity and love through Christ, you know, which came to bring us together in love, you know. Yes, I. Next we'll call on, next hand is Honorable Prophet Carlton, and then Prophet Jaron, you did have your hand up, my Lord. Did you still want to speak or no?
Yes, I speak. Blessed love.
Okay, well, you'll be next after Prophet Carlton, then I'll call you forward.
Blessed.
Honorable Prophet Carlton, my Lord, you can unmute thyself.
Blessed love again. Give thanks for all the reasoning going forward.
Worthy.
Yeah, there were 2 points I've noted from what couple people would say earlier. Brother Joseph, you know, he was talking about the different calendars, you know, and he's very correct on that, you know, in terms of the difference from the Julian and the one we use now as the Gregorian, you know. But even the Julian calendar is a Western calendar as well, you know. It's just an updated, the Gregorian is an updated Julian calendar. You know, Julian is Julius Caesar. So although it's an older calendar, Ethiopia's calendar is not the Julian calendar, but it's very similar, you know, because it's kind of like moon-based, 13 months. It's very similar. So there is a difference in time. So there is like a 2-week gap. And, you know, there is a time when the West did change their calendar from the Gregorian, from the Julian to the Gregorian. They did actually miss 11 or so days, you know. You just wake up and it's just gone from July the 1st to July 12th, you know, that it happened. But my point being that it does create a little confusion, you know, within, pardon me? All right, pardon me. There is a little confusion sometimes. I give an example whereas Empress Menen birthday, you know, people get confused with what day it is, you know. Some people say it's 25th of April, and then it would stretch out to the 3rd of, from the 3rd of, correct me, from the 25th of March, pardon me, to the 3rd of April, second or the 3rd of April. And you know, people will argue about it, and I've just come to the conclusion that Elizabeth has 2 birthdays, so why can't Empress Menen? But I know the basis of it is the calendar difference, where some people call the month March, but the months don't seem to match up, you see, because when one month ends, it's still in an Ethiopian month and so on. But the point of what Brother Joseph was saying, the 25th of December now, being that it's basically the older, the newer version of January the 7th, yeah, it's the same thing, you know. So the meaning behind it, the same way the world based, well, I won't say the world, because they're studying Santa right now, you know. And one virgin did ask me, why don't you celebrate Christmas the other day? You know, one virgin here in England. And I said to him, basically, Chris, I didn't really want to go into the whole, you know, my faith and these things there. I just said to him, Christmas, what's the meaning of Christmas to you? And he was telling me it's a good time, you know, family and drinking and, you know, get some presents. So I said, there's no mention of Christ in that. And that originally, the 25th of December, originally, even I as a youth, when we used to go to Sunday's church, you know, we know it as the birth of Christ, you know. So even though it was the white Christ or whatever Christ it was, you know, that was the celebration going on. Now in Ethiopia, on the 7th of January, like my Lord said, is the same date, meaning, and is the same celebration. And I think it's Daniel did mention that, you know, they're still in Ethiopia studying the white Christ. That's why I say we are doing it the right way. We come with the correct dates, we come with the correct order. Sure. Everything is correct. Sure. Whereas, you know, Ethiopian Orthodox, they just come with the correct date. They might have the correct outfit as well, the attire, but they don't have the correct order. Sure. You know, so we give thanks for King Emmanuel that he bring everything correct to us, you know, for a remembrance that I can keep it going forward to bring that back to the motherland, you know. That is that point there. Yeah, on the calendar, you know, the difference is the same thing, my Lord. Is not a different because it's the 25th, you know. The actual meaning for the 25th is the birth of Christ. It's not to do with Santa. So, you know, let's just get that straight. People, as I say, we kind of embarrassed that, you know, we're on the same path with them, but we have the right way. They have it, but they have the wrong way. So another point, Empress Maisie did say, I think she was a little confused with the dates, and you did correct her, Jadania. But she did say, you know, how could you be born and die the same day? And I was, like I mentioned earlier, it's quite common. The name of the thing is called the birthday effect, you know, or birthday blues, you know, and it's quite common. So if Empress Maisie is listening, and to tell the truth, it's not really directly at Empress Maisie. It's to all elders who are amongst King Emmanuel, because a lot of them were not aware of the birth of Emmanuel. They didn't really ask questions. I understand why. You're living with God. How could you question God? You know? But at the same time, a lot of us youths now are saying, you know, why didn't you do this? And why, you know, was the truth, you know? And we can't get it so clear. So I just want to make the point that if those elders there now were with the Father when he passed, yeah, when he passed away, and some of them witnessed it, but we have definitely heard of it, you know, whether you were there or not, you know, we've heard of it. And Baba Shanti is a living God, you know, living Congress. We always talk about life. We ever talk about life. In fact, one of the first thing a Bridget told me about Bobo is like, when I just came, I didn't even know how to answer it. A man told me, why Bobo afraid of death? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, yeah, in Ethiopia, when Bridget passed away, they leave it up to the being, they just leave the place, like they don't want to deal with it. And I said, I couldn't answer the question. Up to today, I can't really answer it, although I've had my own experiences with death and so on. But not to change the topic, I just want to say that, you know, the elders that were around and believed in him while he was alive and saw him pass away now, and have to and believe that because they were there, they cannot deny that he passed and is living in us now, yeah, or whatever terms they want to put it. But why can't we believe now? If we know that he passed, why can't we believe that he was born? You know, because we seem to have an issue with even when the Empress put that date out, May 31st, which is controversial, don't get me wrong. to be born, you know, I had to look it up, and I found out about the birthday blues, found out it's quite common, you know, and I believe everybody knows of William Shakespeare. Yeah, English writer.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know he's famous because when I lived abroad myself, I did school abroad, and we did the books, the Shakespeare books, and I used to tell people like I've been to his house as a youth, and they were laughing at me, like, you know, and I was saying like he's not a biggie, you know, he lives down the road. Well, he lived, you know, down the road. His house is like a museum, and that's so I say I know he's famous, and I say he died on the day he was born, and everybody knows. That's why I asked you, do you know him? So it's quite, you know, you can be known and be a prominent person and die any day, born any day, you know. So let's just remember that if he passed, that means he was born. And I'm not too sure if the day was the 31st, you know, they've done some research on it. I don't believe the day was the 7th. I believe that was the Christ from 2000 years ago, because, you know, Emmanuel was here celebrating it, and he left words, you know, like I read earlier, those are the words he left. And although the Bible is symbolic, and we have to work, you know, take or get the right interpretation, because that's my view of the Bible, you know. It's like, although I feel like it's wrong right interpretation, because there's some people who could decode things and get down and find the right in what you see wrong, you know. But yeah, I think that, pardon me?
What some them power?
Honorable John Winston, my lord. So yeah, let's remember that, you know, if the man passed, he was born, and those are the words he left with us, you know, although he's told a few, you know, birth of the earth, and these were just said many things, you know, to our angel. Not saying it's not significant, but what did he leave for the masses, for me to read today? What did he leave for me to read today? That's what we have to really look at. So I agree with the statement that the priest read, that Daniel read out from the priest, you know. Basically, he'll outline everything for me. Love in the house.
Worthy
Give
God.
thanks again.
Give thanks for the eye perspective. Give thanks for words of right still. And I wanted to, before I call on the next person, which is Jaron, and then Prophet I know Jah, I did, you know, Google about the Julian calendar, you know, and I just want to read a short part. It's really short, and then I'll call on the next one. It says the Julian calendar proposed by Julius Caesar in AUC 708, which is also known as 46 BC, 46 years before the Common Era, which is, we're in the Common Era now, was a reform of the Roman calendar. It took effect on the 1st of January of 709, which is 45 BC, by edict. It was designed with the aid of Greek mathematicians and astronomers, such as Sosigenes of Alexandria. Now, it says that today on the Gregorian calendar is January 2nd, 2022. Today on the Julian calendar is the 20th of December, 2021. So I see what the brethren was saying, Prophet Joseph. I see that 5 days from now is January 7th on the Gregorian calendar, but 5 days from now is 25th of December, 2021 on the Julian calendar. Now, it also has been
Then you can mute the mic. I'm muted the mic. You carry.
Can't hear the eye, my lord.
My light just froze for a moment.
pardon, that the Julian calendar is off because they're still saying that it's the 25th of December, whereas the Ethiopians say it is this coming Friday. That's where the discrepancy is. It's not in the name of the day, because like I said, Julian is 25th of December, Gregorian is 25th of December. In Ethiopia, it's neither, because they don't have a December. So that would be, you know, the safest way to understand that is that if we're going off of the Ethiopian calendar, that it's not the 25th of December, whether it be Gregorian or Julian. It's that particular day. So I think we have the right date. So give thanks for that word sound, Prophet Joseph. And I'm glad I looked into it to understand what it was that the eye was saying still. And I hope I helped to make it a little bit clearer for those who might not have understood before. So at this time, I would call on Honorable Prophet Jaron, and then Prophet I know Jah will be next.
Yeah, I just wanted to elaborate on the number 7. You know, I once read that the number 7 is the number of completion, and everything that Bobo Shanti do is scientific, and it goes back into nature. You know what I mean? Just like the Nyabingi drum, number 1 Daniel band, it goes with the heartbeat. So with the Earth Strong being on January 7th, I just feel like that was, he knows what he's doing. Everything is known. You know what I mean? Just like the colors in our flag is 7 days. I mean 7 colors in there, so 7 days in the week. I feel like that is scientific, also symbolic, and Dada knew what he was doing again, and that's why it is, and it falls on January 7th. Bless Allah.
Yes, my Lord, give thanks, Honorable Prophet I know Jah. My Lord, you can unmute yourself, and the floor is yours.
My Lord.
Honorable.
Yes, give thanks, my Lord and Empress, Prince and Princess. Give thanks, for Sabbath, gone by. Give thanks for all the settings of this order, the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, Church of Divine Salvation. I was listening in. I didn't get to hear what the topic was, but it seemed like it's surrounding the Black Christ Mass. My Lord.
It is. Yes, Birth of Earth, Black Christ Mass.
Birth of Earth.
What is it?
Now, in my tribe, coming through as Bobo Shanti, knowing that is God who revealed himself to I, as, the man say, he gave a half that would never been told, So I, in this order, the first culture of the Black Christ Mass is, as said, the birth of Earth. And, at this time, we could see the reality of what it really is. Like, I come from reincarnation in the Virgin Island and in a place them called St. Croix. On the 6th of January, they celebrate that as the day of Epiphany, you see it? Which is just meaning the day that, the 3 wise men were looking forward for the birth of the Christ man, you see it? And that's something that could be found in Spanish cultures and all type of cultures. But I'm trying to get across that King Emmanuel come with the half that they were never been told, I have a document in front. I don't know if it was read before, but it's on the, Black Christ Mass, January 7th to February 7th. So he just cut it short at just January 7th. This is a continuation as one. It's January 7th to February 7th. So it's nothing like cutting short just January 7th alone. So he put a kind of, as we were saying, like the 2 strong, as if you kind of line them up, you could see that this is a long, lengthy period of celebration. This is not just the January 7th alone, but it's from January 7th to February 7th. That whole time from when it started, January is celebration going through. You see it? So I don't know if this document had been read. I would like to read it, but I don't know if it had been read. I don't want to be too repetitive.
From the Black Supremacy book, my Lord?
Well, I have it in a document. I got this document from Priest Irel, which I obtained also in the Virgin Islands from Prophet Tasfa. You see?
Okay, well, go through, my Lord. The brethren did read an excerpt from the Black Supremacy still, but you can read it still. I don't know if it's the same.
Yeah,
thing.
I don't know if it's the same, but I didn't come in at that time. But it's spoken as read as the king of the races. He did read that one?
Go through, my Lord.
My Lord. All right. The king of the races speak internationally. Document of redemption. I love being black. Which he has the, formerly at 54B, Spanish Town Road, now headquartered at 10 Miles Gold Bay, P.O. St. Andrew, Jamaica. God bless you, my people, on this, our Black Ethiopian Christmas and New Year, January 7th and February 7th. I now call on all my people in all walks of life, sons and daughters of the Ethiopian Royal National Wealth Kingdom. The time of the Black Christ is now come. The time of the Black Man Kingdom is now come. It is now time to own your Black God in flesh, the risen Lord. First Epistle John, St. John, chapter 4. The 25th of December is the White World Christmas. This is the birthday of Queen Elizabeth's grandfather, and so it became Christmas for the Black slaves to this day. Our God is the God of Ethiopia, and our Christmas is the 7th of January, and our New Year, the 7th of February. Our calendar carries 13 months, not 12 like the Western world. For example, 7 days make 1 week, 4 weeks make 1 month, and a month of 4 weeks should be 28 days, not 29, 30, or 31. This is Babylon. So you have 13 months in our Ethiopian calendar. We could not give away a continent, Africa, for Jamaica and our Smile Islands. Black culture, Jehovah. Yeah. Rastafari. Okay, that's the document that I first came across when I first get any culture of the Black Christmas, birth to earth. I was wanted to interject this here as to see how even Babylon, which is the European world, which is America, they and I never used to celebrate Christmas and the 25th of December. They keep changing it because I had people who, at least at that time, white people I'm talking about, that they are kind of understand that we can't make up history, you know what I mean? Like within the sense of you could just pick and choose as you please. It have to be somewhat related to something real. So I found out the other day, I should have had the right word, but I found out the other day in slavery, and the 25th of December, they used to give slaves a privilege to go heckle, you know what I mean? Heckle meaning beg, you know, the slave masters for little tokens, which is a cup of rum, coins, and they used to allow the slaves to walk the street, boisterous, disorderly, you know what I mean? And, so now look at today. You see how they implement that through, brutality and force it upon us. That's the, as Dada said, the X-world way, the 6'6" doctrine, which can't lead no one nowhere. And him come now with the half to show us that ain't all last within, like we just celebrate the 10th of December, right? We know it's the day of Human Rights Day. We know it's a Passover. You see, according to this Bobo Shanti culture, that's how I get the Passover is the 10th of January. If I'm wrong, someone could kind of correct me on that. It's still. So right. when we look at how that align up, our culture in our celebration, because I do have a document that I did came across again with all our celebrations, and even the heavens. Someone touched a point on the Ash Wednesday and how it keep changing, but the heavens. Remember, this is a calendar that we don't have nothing to do with. This ain't our calendar. You see, before I think name a calendar, we did have our means and ways of, like even, watching the stars, Martin say the heavens declare the glory, give thanks for precise acts with kind of making these things very clear that that's a message up there. And in these celebrations of what we uphold, like 1st of March, Congress Day, January 7th, February 7th, Empress League Day, July 23rd, the heavens also represent these days, to prove that this man here and what he come with, for instance, this. If you look at what you call the geography or architecture of the settings of the Black Christ, right? How we have the palace, the courtyard, the conference hall, the tabernacle. Have you seen anything like that there on earth, my lad? I have seen, cathedrals, layout and their format, laying it up. But I talk about the golden altar and the justice box and the button, with Daniel Ban and the 4 international guard, haven't seen anything like that they ever existing in this planet here until Dada himself come with this. So I'm just saying all of this to say that when Dada speak and I think he's speaking of our creational origin, and because of the way how things are coming out in this time here, where I could see is a trickery going on too, because for we to get to a point, right, is like this. If you want to do something and build something, sometimes you have to use what you have to build something. If you try to look for other things to try to start it because it might be as quote unquote more advanced to get it done, you never start, you see? So if you have something that you could use to start with, it will eventually lead you into the complete goal of finishing, you know? And Emmanuel make it plain to us that this world where he shows us is the number 1 world, and the world out there, which we see now with the COVID and all, is the number 2 world. So when it comes to when the man tar in his word, in his way, we could kind of look into it and get the more reality out of it for this generation, you know? So this is a document I just wanted to share. I know more ones have it. This is the first document that relates, or the literature that relates to the Black Christ Mass, Birth of Earth, and how we have pointers in there, like we could go over, like Queen Elizabeth grandfather and the 25th of December, and how I just came across that the 25th of December, they used to make the slaves them rant, do anything they want, like go and beg even the slave master for money, you see? But that don't be, you know, on CNN per se. Is we who might see a glimpse of that, and for we to bring it forward on a platform like this, this is what I talk about the trickery, because if I see it on Wikipedia or on Facebook, right, they might take down that post. So that come like, I just see something and the tangibleness of someone going and CYC might not be there, but Dada himself come from Zion, you see? So what he see, he live, and he come to teach us of what he lives so that we could live also still, you know? So my Lord and Empress, Prince and Princess, you know, that's just a word I just wanted to get across upon the Black Christ Mass, that when Dada laid down this foundation here and open wide the door, what more can the man do? Is for we know, the same way how we would listen to these scholars do extensive studies on the geography and the architecture and the literature of other cultures, we could look straight into Bobo Shanti also and see how the man set it sail. Because the man say, is a city and a hill that cannot be hid. And we know of Tulsa, Oklahoma that had a city, and Rosewood that had a city, but yet still on northeast side of Warwick Hill, Mount Teman, you know, that's something also in prophecy, right in the Bible, they have Teman, you see, in the Bible, you see, and they talk about a judgment too, if you ever read it. They talk about a kind of judgment that really is fulfilling prophecy, really literally and physically right now. So give thanks for the moment, my lad, and, you know, hope to see the item at the celebration, whether Miami or New York, you know. Yeah, so we have to give thanks, you know, and represent, you know, who we are, because we represent the goodness in the earth right now, you know, and we just have to continue on to like study more in what the man left for us, to study more into that, to make it come more real, so that those onlookers or those who kind of curious about getting in could kind of have a clearance on how we to view things and how Emmanuel stand is. The man stand for the right. The man don't really beg for nothing really. The man is who come with the half that never been told. He come as Father Moses. So even when he addressing the world heads, just put him in the seat of Father Moses, because that's who the man is. You see, when him talk through that authority. You see, so just like how Father Moses went to Pharaoh and show Pharaoh like you have to let the people go, and Pharaoh hardened, and then he called upon the God, you know, of earthquake, lightning, and thunder. The same way, you know, is how we now have to do the same thing. So give thanks, my Lord, for the moment, and our strength, our power be unto the risen Lamb of creation. Holy Emmanuel, I, Selassie, I,
Yeah.
Rastafari. Bless.
I'll give thanks for the mighty words, sound Prophet. I know Jah. Give thanks for reading, you know, from the, you know, pamphlet or whatever that I have still, and give thanks for the culture in same way. Yeah, I mean, you know, as we reason, it really just feels that we're all kind of on the same page still, which is good, you know, because like I said, when I've asked before different priests about what is birth of earth and Black Christmas. I haven't really got an answer that I said, all right, I'm happy with that and I can understand it. Not because I'm unhappy with it, because I don't believe it, but it's just sometimes when things are explained a certain way, then it makes you really know that this is a fact. And sometimes when people explain it a different way, it leaves room for question, you know? So, the purpose of this reasoning really is to remove that questionability out of the whole concept of birth of earth, and really, as we reason, I ain't really hearing too much about the birth of earth part. It's more so we talking about the birth of Christ. And why would King Emmanuel, I would like to ask the question, why now would King Emmanuel call it the birth of earth celebration, whereas everyone knows it as Christ Mass, and we even call it Christ Mass? Why would we call it birth of earth? I don't have the answer, but I would love to hear. I've heard someone say that Christ is earth, but I would like to get the connection still. I won't even disagree with it. I would just like to know how could one come to that conclusion that Christ is earth? Because just as Christ is a man, And so I would love to hear what ones and ones have to say on that particular reason, and still to make that clear. We had some hands raised. We had Prophet Clarkey, and then Jack Carlton had his hands up again. So we'll call on Prophet Clarkey first, and then Jack Carlton will get the floor. Jack Clarkey, my lord, the floor is yours. If you can unmute.
Love to your family.
Worthy.
Lord and Empress. Blessed. Powers and strength. Give thanks for reasoning, my Lord. And the topic we on is, the Christmas celebration here coming, and the birth of earth, my Lord. As we say, my Lord, within the input of the INM, my Lord, concerning the seventh, my Lord. First to begin is King Emmanuel, the seventh, my Lord, which is the mystics of the man, the number 7, the completion, the perfection. The man who come with the 7-man order, as in Revelation is. We come back and see within the fulfillment of the Melchizedek order, to be a member in the fullness of it, you must recognize one head, and Exodus 20 and 31. So that means we go into a scriptural point of view, my Lord. But in the scriptures now, from the book of Genesis, from day 1, my Lord, according to the book, it is written like the heaven and earth. And Jah talk about the earth now was void, and it did not nothing upon the earth then. So from that day 1 to the 7th day, my Lord, is which part the earth actually birthed, because it had nothing upon the earth. It was void, and darkness was upon the face upon the earth. And every day from that time until the 6th day, when God created everything on the earth, he rested on the 7th day. He hallowed it, he sanctified it, and he said, this is the end of his work, which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work, which he had made. So then, the host was finished. So from day 1 to the 7th day, in the fulfillment of the works of God, on the 7th day, we come back and say, God bless that day. Fulfilling the earth bring forth now, because it had nothing upon the earth. It was void and darkness, and the waters, the light, he said let the waters come forth. He said let the earth bring forth grass, things that bring it from the grass, what eated the grass, the fish. He talk about everything. And then now he rested on the 7th day. So we see naturally now every 7th day we have to remember that there is a covenant or the association, my Lord.
Honorable.
Within the birth of the earth, my Lord. Now we're talking about King Emmanuel, my Lord. Within the fulfillment, as we say, like that is Christ's Mass. Which you see like Christ born on that day. As the Virgin say, not in this dispensation. Because why you go say that? We have to ask yourself this. There's something, my Lord, I read, my Lord. And if any other I am reading, my Lord. The book called the Rastafarians, my Lord. King Emmanuel was interviewed by a highly authoritative man now, Dr. Leonard Barnett. You know, he was a doctor then, studying the church of Rastafari. From coming straight up with Dunkley and all these man and Pinnacle and all this time, and you know, he taking history. And my Lord, when he interviewed Emmanuel, my Lord, that was the most mystic thing, you know. Because here he asks Emmanuel if he's the man who, according to the book, is Melchizedek. And here what King Emmanuel say, he appeared in the parish in 1915 in St. Elizabeth, fulfilling Hebrews chapter 7, my Lord. That book, my Lord, is the foundation of Emmanuel coming, my Lord. So then, the birth of earth now is a representation of the man, my Lord, every 7 days. We just acknowledge God, my Lord, what he do for I and I within the covenant now. Enter into the covenant that we also just rest from all we work, my Lord, on the 7 days. So the 7 days really are significant day, my Lord. You know, but in the time, and my Lord. Now, you see, concerning the scriptures, I just want to tell something. My Lord, it's very, I hear the name reason. It is a symbolic book, my Lord. King Emmanuel say that. It's the wrong and the right in it. He say hold on to the right and let go the wrong. They come like the wrong now with the other books. They so where they intermingle now in the Council of Nicaea, where they come back and put the testimonies of Paul and certain other books too. You know, but no one can change the word of truth. Because no one cannot change Emmanuel Council. It's immutable. So we have to know the divinity of Christ. And so that's the I talk concerning Christ's Day. He was interviewed by some people called the Lutherans, Layman's League now. And His Majesty had an interview, my Lord, by a man called Dr. Hoffman. We need to, you know, I read that now. The pamphlet in front of me, but we need to I read that and we see what His Majesty say concerning that day, the Christian day. You know, so it have things we need to read, my Lord, to just go back and check back. But within the fullness, my Lord, we can't forget because Selassie said the Bible is the rallying point of humanity, my Lord. And after that, we go know. But the point of humanity, my Lord, we have to go into because Selassie talk about the Bible, you know. He said much things about the Bible. Now you always just really converse with the Bible. Emmanuel said, come with the Bible and the inbox. But as the Virgin, the Honorable Priest said, some people may have the power to decode it. You know, that kind of way, because the right there. The right there, my Lord. The wrong also there, but the right there, my Lord. So, you know, just get thanks in the moment. You know, to just read this kind of meditation to the I am, my Lord. But, you know, it's something we need to look in. Because last year, really enhance the Bible a certain way, my Lord. Glorifying it, my Lord. So, you know, Bobo and man who come and condemn it, we have to know what we're saying. For real, for real. You know, but in my words, my Lord, to the Honorable Angel, I say it's the most controversial book now. You know, man, I have to know how to deal with it. You know, black supremacy show we true righteousness, how to deal with it too. But you know, within the Christmas, my Lord, I understand towards the fullness now. You know, but I like to read the interview, but you know, it's a bit long too now. But I want to take a bit time where it's a moment. My Lord. Bless the Lord.
Give thanks, Prophet Clarky, my Lord. Give thanks for the midday guidance and protection. 12 o'clock hour going through. Who was next? Ja Carlton and then Ja Mpo. Ja Carlton, the floor is yours. Ja Mpo, the eye is next.
Blessed love again, give thanks. Yes, honorables. Yes, there was a passage read there. You know, I don't know, I didn't quite hear everything or where it came from. So I don't know if the Ija Daniel did catch that. But there's a piece in it that talks about Queen Elizabeth's grandfather's birthday, and it's something I've heard I mean, I've seen it written down on some documents too, and I've heard a lot of ones using it. But I can't remember if it's written specifically which queen, Elizabeth, because remember you say they're on the second. This is supposed to be the last reigning monarch, you know. So we're on the second Queen Elizabeth. So, you know, I try to research that to back it up, you know, because I pull that on people in my early days and say, yeah, you know, Queen Elizabeth grandfather birthday, but you know, when I look into it, it didn't match up. But then I realized, you know, Queen Elizabeth I now, who goes way back longer, you know, and I think it's possible that that reference is drawn to then, because there's one date I can't find out for one of the grandfathers of Queen Elizabeth I. So it's possible that it's that date. You know, she herself was born September the 7th, they say, but her grandparents, you know, all the records are not there. So I'm just pointing out that, you know, even when we are speaking these words, you know, that we are kind of direct, because, you know, people kind of look at me and laugh, you know. And then I realize now I realize and say it's probably Queen Elizabeth I. So we have to kind of get our facts straight. You know, it's only this point in time I've realized that, to tell you the truth. I've always been against that, saying, you know. But I've fought further and said it could be because King Emmanuel, you know, concentrated on the latter time, talking of, you know, bringing black people from Africa to the Caribbean, and these times it was like the 1500s. And Queen Elizabeth, ironically, Queen Elizabeth I was the one who started slavery, you know. We on the Queen Elizabeth II now, 400 or 500 years later. So, you know, words are powerful, you know, the same way, you know. My Lord and Empress. Love.
Give thanks, my Lord, for even bringing that to our attention. You know, that's not something I really say. You know, when I define their Christmas still, I just brought it because I know people do say that, you know, culture that way. That's not something Prophet Daniel endorses or really would even, I never declared that myself, honestly. So I don't know. I can't answer that question. Maybe someone else can. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I don't know, because I never really have said that in my own argument still. Mostly I've heard about, I know that the solstice, the winter solstice, is on the 21st. And that I've heard has been merged into the celebration of, what, you know, say Jesus' birthday, because we know it's not the Christ Mass still. But yeah, I would love to know for sure whether that's a fact or not. But to continue moving, we'll call on Honorable Prophet Mpo. My Lord, you could unmute
Honorable
yourself.
my Lord,
Glorify.
give thanks, my Lord. Give thanks, honorable family. Give thanks, Jah move in a mysterious way. And his wonders are there to be performed. Holy Emmanuel, I Selassie, Jah Rastafari. Glorify the reasoning of our Father, you know, the same Father which the Ethiopian sons and daughters who were here at home as a whole, who kept the day, you know, on 7th January, called the day called Gena, you know. In my mother tongue, my Lord, I would like to share a lot of jewels with the I family right now, you know. On that word Gena, you know, when we speak it in Amharic, you know, we say the birth of Christ, right? So at home, at my home, it's Sesotho, né? So the word would be this, we are looking for a synonym, because the best way to learn your language and to go to the root, which is Amharic, is to make similarities with word sound and power. They say Gena, go Gena. You know, it's written Khena, Gena. Yeah, actually it's Kena. Give thanks, you know. So in Amharic, it's written Gena as well, you know, which is G, you know, the Gena, Gena, you know. And that is the similarity, the first similarity I wanted to show to the beloved family, that, you know, it is true that Christ, you know, was born on the 7th of January, you know, because the word in expression, it means come in. You know, in Sesotho, when we say kena, it means come in. If you knock on the door kena, you know, so which means come in, you know. So it was the coming in of the Black Christ when we go into our parables in the same sense. Now into time and space, when we go into the Amharic calendar, we will go firstly on the month of, if I'm not mistaken, it's Tassis, you know, it's the 7th of January. It is the 16th of Tassis within the Ethiopian calendar, you know, and the 7th of February, the 7th of February, which is also written in the Bible, you know, where King Emmanuel taught us the prophecy, right? You know, that it was the birth of earth. And as I'm understanding now from my beloved elder, my beautiful beloved elder, Honorable Right Empress Maisie, you know, she cut and clear for me something that I needed to hear, you know, that the culture of the word sound, birth of earth, it was recent, you know, because of, and I believe, my Lord, that we use certain terms because those who were elected in office to prophesy what this day would symbolize chose so in accordance, like the committee raising the 33 man, and, you know, the black woman, you know, the black woman in the freedom liberation, you know, all elected saints and all elected angels came with that term, which is birth of earth, you know. So if you can check in on that, you know, my Lord, it is in Genesis 8, verse 14. And it says, in the second month, on the 7th day of the month, the earth was dried. Now, we are talking of the time of Noah, you know, when the man, you know, who Noah, it's the word Noah, is to Noah, you know. He came out of the 40-day and night, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember it here, but I do remember it was a time. It was a time of which, you know, as you can even find the archaeological findings in Akemet, you know, where you see that the pyramids, you know, show a level of erosion, you know, caused by water as it was evaporating, or even it was moving like a tidal wave, you know, just going down. The water levels went down to a level because at that time the whole civilization of Africans was in Ethiopia, Abyssinia, you know. That is, now we are going in terms of there was before the white race, before the Chinese race, before the Indian race, you know. So in essence, you know, the Christ mass, you know, it is accurately put. It was King James, you know, same King James, who taught the white civilization, because we know they come from the barbarian way of life, which was uncleanliness, ungodliness, war, and all these other things, you know, which we know very well of. And that is why, you know, I said, you know, that, you know, the white world, you know, have no right, but the black world has. So in essence, my Lord, I give thanks, you know, for this order, you know, and gathering of ones who are elected, and, you know, as a representative of this land, I'm a man who studies Bible. I take my time to meditate and premeditate what is being taught, you know. And I give thanks, you know, that this podium is there for us to put things into perspective, you know, because the key for us right now, it is perception, you know, the way we look at things, you know. When I look at the issue of the dates, you know, the dates, I love the number 7 because it's perfection. There's no, I cannot alter that, you know, because it's on the altar itself. You know, 7 candlesticks are there. Yet, I have to be honest with my beloved family, you know. What do you think about the fact that 7th of January is not 7 in the Ethiopian calendar? Is that a problem in a sense to us as a whole? Because, you know, the 16th of Tarsus, you know, we are dealing with a culture that has been there for ages, you know, for millennia, even for eternity. I might even profess, you know. So is it really going to be hard when it comes to that time when our brothers and sisters, my beloved family, you come here and then you're going to have to realize that certain things, you know, when they say drop the Bible in the Dead Sea or the Living Sea, it's not to say that the Bible is going to be, or let me say not the Bible, but the prophecies and the writings that were written in the Bible are going to come back to the Ethiopian context, you know, because in Ethiopia, we all know that Christ was not born in a manger, you know. The man was there, so in the mountains, you know, of Lalibela. So yeah, give thanks, my Lord, you know, just to add, you know, to this wonderful, wonderful reason, you know, where reasoning is better than preaching. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie,
Ja.
Ja,
Rastafari.
Jesus.
My Lord. Honorable. So to answer the question, well, to give a little clearance on what he was asking still as far as the date on the Ethiopian calendar, the number is the 4th month, which is called Tahassas, and it is the 24th day. So what on our calendar was January the 7th is the 4th month, Tahassas, and the day is the 24th. So no, it's not the 7th, but you know, still on our calendar, it is the 7th, just like the New Year, February the 7th is on the 7th day of the month, same way, my Lord, Jampo. Honorable Priest Kareem, your hand is up. You have the floor, my Lord.
Blessed love, my Lord, I am pressed. Give thanks, you know, for another study group. See me too. Give thanks for all the mighty speakers. Them, you know, everyone will impart the knowledge. Each one teach one. You give thanks that, you know, all and I here, you know, bringing up everything that, you know, pulling up everything that need to come up, and you know, there's a lot to be said, you know, and there's much more to be said. Same way too. You know, I didn't get to hear everything that everyone said, you know. I wasn't here for a moment still, so I never hear everything what everyone said. So in case we might repeat to anybody say, you know, before, you know, pardon I. So about the calendar, the Ethiopian calendar, we as Bobo Shanti, you know, the Christmas we celebrate and the New Year's that we celebrate, you know, is different still from the Ethiopian calendar, what they use in Ethiopia. Because when the Ethiopian calendar in Ethiopia is like 7 years behind the Gregorian calendar, the Bobo Shanti calendar is always 1 year ahead of Babylon calendar. Yes. That's King Emmanuel, impart that knowledge in the Black Supremacy book. So while they see 2022 now, we was already in 2022. So when February 7 comes, we shall see 2023. So Babylon always 1 year behind, we are 1 year ahead of them. Now, regarding the birth of earth, I man just simply see it as the birth of earth. Man say hurt not the earth, for I am earth. King Emmanuel the 7, Adonai God, Jah, Rastafari. So, Jah did say, he did have a vision when he see himself, as Christ from creation, first Christ, and I, I don't know if anyone ever hear, Jah reason, and the earth being Christ. But I'm very sure, according to my recollection, I've heard Jah in his reasoning, and different tape and thing, he reasoned on the earth being Christ, the first Christ, you see it. So he give thanks for the birth of earth, the birth of Christ, the black man, the black God from creation, and even when Jah was asked, if he believe like, a man make create this, Jah say yes, true, a man, king a man, the first God, the first king, the black God of creation. When you go forward again to, even in the Kemet, philosophy, they tell you about a man, the hidden God, the black God, the hidden God, the God we're in everyone, So it's the same King Emmanuel, So yes, give thanks for the birth of earth, and that's just simply what me see it as, the birth of earth, the earth where we live upon, because the earth is a living thing, and we supposed to live in a symbiosis relationship with the earth, because the earth send forth everything that we need. Every season there's a fruit that grows. So in case we forget like a cola, whatever, whatever, like a illness or anything, whatever boost we need, there are herbs growing there, they have fruits. My grandmother used to say, anytime you're in your yard and you see a plant going in your yard that you never really see before, it growing there for you. You have something that your goodie needs. So yes, we have a relationship with the earth. The earth have a relationship with us, and through the evil world teachings, of divide and rule, they come to separate we from our relationship with God and nature, you know. So, give thanks for all these remembrance coming up to the celebration of the birth of earth. Yes. So we have to remember, say, we have to have that relationship with God and nature, the earth, and we are one, I and I are earth is I and I. Holy Emmanuel, I. Last year, yeah. Rastafari.
Love to speak, my Lord, please.
All right, Empress. Give thanks for that clearance, Priest Kareem. That really helped me to understand it. And I realized that even when I read Priest Carlos's thing from the YouTube, he actually did say the same thing, hurt not the earth, for I am earth. Where does that sound come from? Where you say hurt not the earth, for I am earth?
I don't remember exactly what scripture it is, but it comes straight out of the scripture.
Okay, give thanks. All right, so we'll call on Honorable Empress Maisie, and then Prophet Carlton has his hand up again.
My Lord and Empress.
Give thanks, my Lord.
Oh, give thanks again, my Lord. For all, words of right going through by our honorable brethren, Yeah, and my conclusion, listen to, what the brothers are saying, that and I birth of hurt would I represent I and I black people. You see? I don't know. That's the conclusion I come to listening, Birth of hurt would I represent I and I black people, still sons and daughters, So give thanks again to all knowledge, Because knowledge is increasing through Jah Rastafari, my Lord. Give thanks to all strength and power going through, all understanding, man seek, and we get understanding for buying it. Or we neck, call it our kingsman. So we give thanks again for all, understanding going through, all reasoning going through, my Lord. I'm not feeling so great. I catch a cold. So I pardon the roughness of my voice today. I give thanks, my Lord. Blessed Lord Baba.
Worthy Empress, give thanks. And Honorable Priest Carlos, Priest Ion in the YouTube chat, he said, Christ said, hurt not the earth, for I am earth. So to say birth of earth or birth of Christ is one and the same. It's all about acknowledging Christ's coming, being celebrated by all people, especially Bobo. And he said that scripture is in Revelations chapter 7. I repeat, that scripture is in Revelations chapter 7. Yeah, so even the 7 again, Priest Kareem, I call on you in one moment, Jack Carlton. I wanted to ask Priest Kareem, you said that in an interview, you had heard King Emmanuel say that, what did you say, that he said that he is the earth or something like that? Where,
Oh my
I
Lord.
just wanted to reference that so ones could, go and look to hear it for themselves.
I hear King Emmanuel reason and Christ, being earth. You understand?
Okay. And what interview was that?
I can't even give you, like, I know is one of the reasoning, like that I was reasoning and he was being recorded,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you could ever, in the future, if you could ever place it, and share it, that would be great, my Lord.
Hello.
Honorable. Prophet Carlton, my Lord, you have your hand up. The floor is yours.
My Lord, blessed love. Yes, you just pointed out, it's Revelation 7,
Okay.
So it's also significant as well. But someone mentioned a point there, which, I'm glad they brought it up because, a few ones have, even some Bobo who live in Ethiopia have told me that, that they said that in Ethiopia, Christ was not born in a manger, so to speak, in a stables,
Right.
And I wanted to know where exactly they get that information from, whether they know that's factual, because I had heard that. I've heard that, been looking for that information, never found it, and actually, one of the priests who endorses that culture, does videos on YouTube without making any names mentioned, but he was saying that, and he actually had an Ethiopian scholar come on his program, and he was saying that same thing, that saying, he had a member of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church on his show, and he was trying to pull out the differences between January the 7th and December the 25th. And the brethren was basically saying it's the same thing, and the priest was trying to say, but this is different, that's different, and so on and so forth. And he was saying everything is the same. So even when it comes down to the birth, which what I just heard, he was born in a cave. Yeah, and these things there. And when the priest pulled that on the Orthodox priest or Orthodox member, he was saying, no, it's not like that. And you could see that the priest was quite shocked to find that what he's been saying, there's no evidence of that. That's not what Ethiopians say. the story is quite in line with you know how we all know it, you know, even before we came into Boba Shanti, you know. So like I say, some things are hard to swallow, but yeah, there's no mention unless somebody knows, you know, where that passage is about him being born in a cave and not a stables or major, so to speak. But yes, my Lord, give thanks for listening.
Give
And
thanks,
Empress,
Honorable.
if
Yes,
you
sir.
still give thanks. The silence made me think no one was there for a moment.
No, Bobo. It was just, you know,
Hello.
I was doing
Yeah, yes, everyone.
I was just doing a little research as you were asking the question, trying to figure out, see if I could find anything written about Christ.
Okay, yeah. In the Ethiopians, I was made to believe that the Ethiopian Orthodox Church had that belief, you know, that their Ghana is a total different thing, because this is what the priest was trying to say. I'll probably have to share this if I can find this video where the priest was trying to come out with these differences, and then the Orthodox priest, the Orthodox guy was saying, you know, like, no, it's exactly the same, like born in a major, three kings come and visit, and so on and so forth, you know, in Bethlehem, not in Ethiopia, because at the time there was a priest in Ethiopia, you know, a virgin of mine actually, you know him personally, and he was telling me about a place in Ethiopia that has the same name like Bethlehem, and so to speak, you know. So they were saying that it happened there, but that is not true. It's like I heard that King Selassie named those places after Jerusalem, you know, after the places in Israel, you know. So these names in Ethiopia came after. But like I say, if there's any evidence to show otherwise, you know, it's good to bring those to the table to show even the difference then between the Ghana and the Christmas, you know. Blessed love.
Yes, sir. Well, I don't have the answer still. I'm gonna be looking while we're on here. Prophet Pope has his hand raised. My Lord, the floor is yours.
Listen, I would like to add Honorable Jackal was very true about the priest who shared that color. Now, there's something that to read in Africa, the union system, the way it entered, or let's say it oppressed us. In Ethiopia, if you have seen in these recent documentaries, they used to speak about that, you know, even the same Christ, Yeshua Christos, you know. I think this is after the Father, you know, our Almighty Father, you know, Rastafari, who after he moved away from the eyes of man, yeah? the Father's kingdom was his alone, right? Now, Mengistu came in 1975, right? The influence was also caused by a rebellion, you know, by white propaganda to TV and all these. Basically, let's stick with TV, you know. TV is still the same newspaper, you know, which told the Ethiopians that the Father himself was the one who caused the famine, you know. Now, we must realize the students of which were in the time of our Father, I think a good portion of them, you know, were taught in a certain way, right? Yes, the Father was in authority, but the Father is a man of freedom, redemption, international repatriation, revelations. So he could not force. Let's say, pardon. the father did not focus on the education of the students in a way of forcing them to say this is right and this is wrong. Everyone has a right to their own opinion. All right. Now, going back to the original question which Honorable Jack Carlton asked us about the information of where is it. Né? In Ethiopia, there is a huge issue from my side as a fellow Ethiopian, but here in South Africa, you know, we don't find any of the, actually we don't find the Ethiopian Bible the way it is. Né? Remember, the Ethiopian Bible, it is art, it is drawings mostly, you know, to depict parables so people can elaborate and understand in their own accord. For Manse, you know, everyone has a right to their own opinion, you see. So in the context of the eunuchs, if I may call them, of the Orthodox Church, right? The reason for their mentioning that no, it didn't go so, or whatever they could add to. Né? We must look in terms of the father, you know, what the father did. You know, if the man did change a name of a nation and called it Bethlehem or Jerusalem, you must comprehend that the father had Akasha records, as we would call it, which is ancient records, because the man went all over 54 states of Africa, right? And in that, you know, there was retrieving of ancient information just by reasoning, some even by records of books, some were by the arts that were on the rocks, like here in South Africa, the koi koi, you know, where you know that the art, you know, ancient art was found. All right. So in essence, what I'm trying to bring to the panel is that we need to look at things in a way and even, you know, use the resources we have. Our beloved Honorable Empress, if she was here, I think she would have given us a better clearance, you know, of the difference with the Bibles that are there in the church mountains, and you know, even there in St. George, you know, where the Ark of the Covenant is kept, you know. So these records, they are hard to find, you know. The only way we retrieve these things in this time, not all, but some of the jewels that we receive them by word of mouth, you know. So in essence, all I'm trying to just bring is
one
that,
minute,
you know,
minute
the
more.
Ethiopian. Oh,
Prophet.
that's it.
Lord, 1 minute, please.
Shoot.
Go through. You can reason 1 minute more.
Oh, can I continue 1 minute?
Yes, my Lord.
Oh, give thanks, my Lord. What I was just presenting to the I family is that, remember, there are Ethiopians who never accepted that they were black. You know, we have that in records. You know, I've heard it for myself. In 1963, there was a video. I think it's the people. It talks of that. So let's put that in mind. Give thanks, Honorable. Love again.
Give thanks, Honorable. Saw a hand raised just a moment ago. Okay, Jasik, my Lord, you have the floor.
Yeah, bless the love, my Lord, Empress, Prince and Princess.
Honorable.
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Yeah, man. For had he believed Moses, he would have believed me. For he wrote of me. But if he believe not his writings, how shall he believe my words? So we give thanks for the Christmas and the 17th, and we give thanks for the Black Supremacy book and the message what Christ leave with for on the Christmas. But I pick up enough man coming late for the meeting, you know. Our like Jack Carlton, I read over the part of the Black Supremacy again for me, you know. Considering the topic now. Considering about the Christmas and how Christ is into words, you know. Considering the Bible, you know, the Bible is eternal. Considering the Bible, when we reach a certain part, it does natural still, but when we reach that, we're going to live in the Bible. Man will become the Bible now, you know. So you might not really need the Bible anymore, but we be living the Bible now, the living testament, you know. But it's eternal, my Lord and Empress, you know. I give thanks for the few words. Sure? That's the fire.
Yes, and I wanted to make a distinction between the word birth and born still, you know. No, but I don't think we said that yet in the program. And it's not the same thing, you know. So really, when we talk about King Emmanuel being born on January 7th, that's not really what we're talking about, you know, because he said he was birthed in Ethiopia still, you know. So this is the birth is the original, the first birth, you know, like not when we're reincarnated, we're born in flesh, we're born through a mother's womb and a father's lineage, and we're reborn when we, you know, accept Christ and start to do good and live right. But our birth now is a totally different concept. Yeah. So I wanted to make that distinction just so we understand when we talk about the birth of earth, like as the brethren did say, the birth of earth and the birth of Christ being one and the same. It couldn't be just like within this dispensation of time. Still, it have to be an ancient birth still. But the floor is open. You know, we're gonna seal up the reasoning within, you know, say 20 minutes or so. So, you know, closing regards, closing words, concerns, thoughts, you know, anything, the floor is open, just, you know, within order still, you know, one person reasoning at a time. And yeah, we just don't talk too long still, and just be, you know, respectful and know that ones and ones also would love to reason after you. So the floor is open. Brother Joseph, my Lord, then Prophet I know Jah is next.
Blessed Lord, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks, my Lord and Empress, for this day of reasoning, my Lord. I really did get the clearance of many questions I had myself. Yes, I love to say, my Lord, that I give thanks for this celebration, because I see it like, well, I don't see it like we're celebrating King Emmanuel's birthday this day. I see it, we are really celebrating his spirit as the first ancient God of creation, the way he sees himself. I see the man really comes to teach us that, well, he gave his life for us. So he has no ego, where within in this order he comes to put his birthday as a celebration, but the birthday, the birth of earth, which is all of I and I. So I see this day, it is a very important day for all of us to see King Emmanuel's example, his life and his character, to let him born in us, which is what I think he wanted us to do with this celebration. I would love to hear some way if anyone could bring up the reasoning of, well, which is the Bible lectures for this day, if there is any Bible lecture for this day, any Bible book or any hymn or chorus, even to know if there is any special meal, like any special spice the elders then bring up in the foundation for this day in the kitchen. So yes, my Lord, we'd love to hear if anyone has any word on that. And yes, give thanks for another study group, for another day of reasoning, where I can really, evolve together in one aim, one God and one destiny, my Lord.
Worthy. Give thanks, my Lord. The next hand raised is Prophet I know Jah. My Lord, the floor is yours. You unmute yourself.
Honorable.
Worthy.
Give thanks, my Lord and Empress, Prince and Princess. Yeah. Give thanks, for the equilibrium of everything coming to the one. And each one teach one, iron sharpened iron. As reasoning, I came across another document, which more is an invitation. And these were some of the literature given, in time when we, first starting. But this is really too lengthy to reason. But all I could state is this was dated December 20, 1991 to 92. And it's speaking of the invitation of the Black Christ Mass, but it go more in depth as to the purpose of it, which is, as my lad, Priest Kareem, did say, it's for we Black people. You see these days, because even how we touch on levels of the number 7, and me and our brethren were reasoning and say, Kwanzaa have 7 candles, you see it? And each day represent a principle, you see it? So even you have pamphlets when you see King Emmanuel like holding 7 lions, you see it? And even in the numerological level of how we present in these things, I hope it would be very clear for one to kind of see the powers of King Emmanuel in his settings, as how we now who come up under, the world view of Xmas or wherever, and now there's plenty of knowledge showing how they put that together. You see, that wasn't something that ancient to them. But for us, as we have our natural way of living right, these are our things that now we find ourselves under our own vine and fig tree again doing. That's why the heavens, they also, declare the glories when we have our celebration, So not keeping it too long, my lad and Empress, let's give thanks for the reasonment that gone through. I didn't catch it from the beginning. I love our strength. Hope to see ones and ones, in flesh, at the celebration, whether Florida or New York or our headquarters, Africa, Four Wings. Heart of celebration, my Lord and Empress. Ja, Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Honorable. And we're just, as we're closing up, Prophet Carlton, someone did ask if I could read the passage from the Black Supremacy book that you read at the beginning of the program, my Lord. Do you still have that page available to share? Prophet Carlton.
Yes, my Lord, bless the Lord.
Bless it, Honorable.
Yeah, just before I read it, while I'm seeking out the page, I just want to point out, Brother Joseph did ask, what books and these things that we read, and we know where we could get the book, talking about the birth of Christ. We know that story is in there, but there's also Jeremiah 10, because what I notice also is that when we talk about January the 7th, we tend to talk a lot about December 25th, and what we're not supposed to do and what's of the X world. And, so we have a lot of reference to the December 25th time and saying that that's not the right time. It's not the white Christ, it's the black Christ, and so on. That being said, with the 7th of January now, ones will have to know that the 25th of December is basically the same meaning, but I will look at it in a different aspect from the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, a different aspect from Christianity, because we have our own everything, our own faith, our own calendar, like we say, although we draw in reference to a lot of other calendars just to find out how we got ours, how ours has to play in with what we're using, in the world. So it's just an understanding between what we're using and what we're given, for us to understand ourselves. Also, the brethren did ask what book, the Jeremiah 10, pardon me, concentrate is, it talks, if you read that, I don't have the Bible out in front of me right now. If anybody does and we have time, or probably on another reason, you could read that, and it talks directly, 'cause I heard this at January the 7th celebration, Bob of Shanti, and the priest read that, and it's like, you're just hearing it talking about the vanity of the 25th of December, talking about the Christmas tree, how it's being glittered, and, the item might know of this, but it's a very, very powerful, dated, up-to-date scripture, that reveals things to see, what the ex-world is doing. But that is one thing. And also, if you notice, on YouTube and other media, we have a lot of Christmas celebrations out there. You can go and look and see that the hymns we sing and even the choruses are quite related to, like the birth of Christ, like away in a manger, these kind of things there. So that is that said. But I'm going to go ahead now to page 52 of the Black Supremacy Hymnal. And the heading is "Men of Right is God in flesh, men of wrong is Satan in flesh." And we're on the third paragraph, speaking of the Black Christmas. Give thanks for being black. Give thanks for a Black Christmas. January the 7th to 20th, 1979. 2 full weeks of joy and happiness, peace and love and prosperity to all black sons and daughters. Come one, come all to this black fullness of life. Come and see the black fullness of God in flesh. Give thanks to the Black Father who live in the hearts and reign in flesh. Prophecy and history spoken to anyone is good to the soul. The voice of the people will bring forth 7 miles of black starliner coming through the head of United Nations to settle peace on earth and send every man to his own vine and fig tree. This celebration will be a melody day consisting of Bible reading, hymn singing, and drum sounds from Daniel's band. 2 weeks of peace and love. Let us come with a clean hand and pure heart. No charge, free admission, no price, free salvation. Let peace and love abide, for unto us a black child is born. Unto us a black son is given. His name shall be called Emmanuel. Holy Emmanuel, I, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari.
Give thanks,
A
my
Black
Lord.
Christmas message to warm your hearts universally, internationally, January the 7th. Give thanks for life, blessed love to all, my Lord, just to see it.
I'll glorify my Lord. Give thanks for sharing again.
My Lord.
Yeah, and next to call on Jampo, then Priest Kareem. Jampo.
Oh, give thanks. Give thanks. Thanks once again. Well done. My Lord, I just needed to ask a question too, if it's possible, because I see Empress Maisie still off. I just wanted clearance if has there ever been on the foundation a celebration which coincides with the Ethiopian calendar?
Can you repeat the question, Bobo?
The question was, has there been a celebration where, like, is the celebrations of the Ethiopian calendar also celebrated within us, our Bobo Shanti calendar, like the 7th of January? I just needed to find a clearance, on the father, how he perceived the Ethiopian calendar. Actually, that's my question. Did the father celebrate according to the Ethiopian calendar, or was it based on the prophecies in the scripture?
All right. Give thanks, Honorable. Empress Maisie, you could answer that.
Well, my Lord, I really never see our, the Father celebrate, the calendar. Ethiopia still. It's just, it's a Babylon. You go the time, just go the calendar where the Western world give, I really never see him celebrate a different, no, my Lord. I don't know if it was done before I go there, but in my experience there, I never really see Bobo.
I'll give thanks, Empress. Yeah, so Priest Kareem, and then, afterwards we'd ask Honorable Priest Matthew to seal up the program with a prayer and maybe a chorus if he feels to. Priest Kareem, my Lord, unmute thyself. The floor is yours.
Blessed Lord. Yes. Before I continue the same I have to say, me just get a word across to the Honorable Empress. Empress Maisie.
My Lord.
I hear you with the cold.
Yeah, I don't know where it come from, but I have the cold bubble.
Me know which part it come from, man.
Where it come from?
We know exactly where it come from. So
where it come from, Jackery?
Me come and visit you the other day with my little niece, right?
Mm-hmm.
And me know she had a little cold, see me too.
Okay.
So I think when she hug you, she probably passed that to you, Majesty. So pardon me for that. But me get left a thing and you doing up for you. So you can go and heal up with that same way.
All right. Give thanks, my Lord.
Honorable. Blessed love. Yes. In regards to the Chris Kringle, Queen Elizabeth grandfather, it don't necessarily mean, not that I'm too sure that they do, but it don't necessarily mean, Queen Elizabeth grandfather like physically, but same way, Chris Kringle, it come from the German word Christ Kindle, which is Christ child, which is another name for Father Christmas, of the white world. You understand? So December 25th do, represent, the existence of Santa Claus. So when you say we're gonna celebrate December 25th, that Queen Elizabeth grandfather birthday, spiritually, yes, that
true.
Queen Elizabeth grandfather birthday is Santa Claus. You might talk about, because the white world worship Santa Claus, and them teach we for worship Santa Claus same way too. So, and everything of the white world is white supremacy philosophy and teaching. So the Father come and bring it forward out of that day to the remembrance of himself with the Black Christmas celebration. And, if you notice the etymology of the Black Christmas, it's, Christ, Mass. You understand? So it's Christ and Mass. And Mass is like, I don't want to say crowd, but as King Emmanuel is the king of the races and king of the masses, so the Christ Mass, the whole of the Christ, not just one man, but the whole nation of Christ, which is I and I, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari.
Rastafari.
So we give thanks for the Black Christmas celebration going through, and give thanks once more again for everyone, coming and, give a piece, imparting some knowledge and be here building, so we can get a better understanding to what it's all about. Yes, give thanks, Jah Daniel, for another study group, same way too. My Lord, the Empress, all prosperity until such time, part of Black Christmas celebration coming in. My Lord and Empress.
Bless the Lord.
Glorify my Lord. Yes, I give thanks for everyone's contribution, like the priest said. I mean, there's a full reasoning. I give thanks. I learned some things today still, and I hope everyone did, build up in some way. Before we close with the prayer, I wanted to, say that Jah willing, African Liberation Network will be live streaming service from the foundation on Saturday of Next Strong. The Black Christ Mass celebration, double Sabbath.
Bless the Lord.
Jah willing, if all goes well, we will be live streaming the service on that day from 6 a.m. So, Honorable Priest Matthew, my Lord, the floor is yours if you want to sing a chorus or whatever, and then a prayer to close the program.
My Lord and Emperor.
Honorable.
Give thanks to the my Lord. Give thanks to the host. Give thanks to the gods and goddess. Give thanks to everything that's said and done from creation until this present Zoom meeting. In front for all apostles, all emperors, and little ones, everyone. Jehovah.
Jah.
I'm also listening to the reason. I give thanks to all point. It make I feel a little bit more secure and a little bit more safe and a little more protected. We're the ones bringing the food of 7. King Emmanuel 7.
Adonia.
God. Also,
thanks, Priest Matthew.
I also hear my grandmother also with such points and such. Well, is Empress and the priest actually teach I and shape I in the way of right. King Selassie. Man say, we give thanks to such counteraction, of such wickedness, of such enslavement, of such everything. When they bring up an I, and give I as a sign, the December 25th. Man said that is such day of wickedness, because it's only money spent on that day, no Christ. King Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. So give thanks for such counteraction day such counteraction day coming up, are the first Christmas, the birth of earth, the birth of man. Man say earth not earth, for I am earth. That means him create and he destroy. Man say create earth for his habitation, like when him create Zion for him dwelling place. Jehovah, Rastafari. Rastafari entonces among the heathen them to I Adonia 420 elders to guide us by the way. I say, help us, para. Come quechad monzayana. Of I was so good. Ayaradoni, I say, when Jadano. I say, oh, Jadano, River Jadano. Jadan roll, if Jadan roll, I will want to go to Zion in this time. We go here where God. In God's keeping, we are safe and day. Jehovah. Jah.
Jah.
Rastafari.
One
Rastafari.
more chorus and I still, my lord. One more chorus.
Go through, man.
I said the same God. Emmanuel.
Draw them,
He
mature.
was born. Eh?
Draw them, man.
Huh?
Go and sing, Baba. Go and sing, man.
I said the same God. Emmanuel. He was born in Abba City. Mama, go on.
I say, all the Israelites talking about the same God, King Emmanuel. I say, all the Israelites talking about the same God, King Emmanuel. I said, I say, God Emmanuel, he was born in Abyssinia. I said the same God Emmanuel, oh, he was born in Abyssinia. I say, oh, the Israelite talking about the same God, King Emmanuel. Take it over, Macho.
Jehovah, Jah. Jehovah, Jah. Rastafari. God Almighty, I'm surrounded here. Peace, peace is mine. Jehovah, Jah. Last one.
Rastafari.
Some call him the Rose of Pharaoh. Some call him the Prince of Peace.
I'm practicing
But
much.
I call him Negos, my Lord. I call him Negos, my Lord. Wonderful Negos, my Lord. Lord John speak about him in the book of the seventh seal. They call him the Rose of Pharaoh. Some call him the Prince of Peace. But I call him Negos, my Lord. In a holy Mount Zion, 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 Lord, holy Mount Zion, Zion. God in three persons, blessed Trinity, Jehovah, Jah, Rastafari. Give thanks to the listening ears. Give thanks to the strength and force. Yes, mommy?
Going at the glory be.
My Lord?
Glory be.
And every prophet on here?
My Lord, glory be. She said,
let's close it now.
My Lord,
yes.
All right. Reverend to the mighty court of King David, 4 wings, universally, earth, sky, and sea. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for us brethren and sisters to dwell together in unity and love. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that run down to the skirt of it, to the beard, even to the skirt of his garment. As the dew of Hermon, as the dew that descends upon mountain of Zion. For I hear the Lord command in blessing, even life and love forevermore. So hail our God, Selassie, Jehovah God, Rastafari. Our Almighty God, Rastafari, great and terrible God, Rastafari is the Almighty God. Jah who seated in Zion and reigneth in the hearts of all flesh. O thou most high eternal Father, Jehovah God, Rastafari. Hear us and bless us, O Lord, and keep and sanctify us all. Cause thine holy faith to shine upon us, thy children, that we shall be saved and redeemed. O the most high God, Jah, Rastafari.
Rastafari.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy One, with such similitude, come together and create man. And the Son said, I will be in the body of Adam, in the body of man. And the Holy One said, I will live in the heart of all prophets. And the Father said, I will be in the word. Jehovah!
Jah.
Rastafari, materials.
Rastafari.
Hey,
My Lord and Empress,
hey.
Prince and Princess.
Yeah, give thanks.
Bravo. Give thanks, my Lord.
Lord.
Yes, I.
Yes, man.
Give thanks, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks
Yes,
for
Yes,
my
love.
International Study Group. Give thanks for the common celebration of the Black Christ Mass, the birth of Earth, and give thanks for the reasoning, to give us clearance as to what it is really that we celebrate. Yes, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks. Our strength and power. That's it.
Just reach.
Still again. Love.
Oh.
Honorable.
Give thanks, my Lord. Give thanks, Honorable Prophet. All the Virgin and sister, and glorify my Lord.
That's the love. Rastafari. Imperial Majesty.
Give thanks to the host again, and give thanks to all present, and give thanks to the celebration coming up. Bless my soul, the King of Zion,
Heart to love.
Jehovah.
Heart to love.
Heart of love. Always.